Well, if there was ever a man who lives for his speedway, that man would be Bert Vosbergen. Bert, a lot of interstate talent tonight. I'm sure you're looking forward to this experience for the 3 nights.
Well, I think it'll be a hell of a show, and it's just such a pity that the weather looks a little bit glum, but it shouldn't keep people away. But it's going to be the best sedan racing we've seen for a long time, and hopefully the people support it.
Bert, you're pioneering super sedan racing in some form here with this Pantera. It's obviously got the potential because you're persevering with the damn thing.
Well, I've been doing it 2 years now, and I've sort of said the challenge is so big, I just don't want to give up. And I feel every time I go out there, I'm nearly there, and something else minor goes wrong. I say, oh, no, I've got to fix that. But I honestly believe that all of a sudden it'll crack loose and it will dominate. I honestly believe that.
Bert, all the best for a great series, mate. There's 3 long nights of racing ahead. I guess it's the ultimate test of man and machine.
Yes, and I think, you know, it's unfortunate that Neil Brooks and Kevin's wives are both having babies tonight, so that's 2 missing. But I think Craig and me will put a hell of a show on, and we'll be up there at the finish, I'm sure of it.
Well, the Ben Ludlow power plant being prepared for competition. Ben, you've worked very hard on this series. To see it come to fruition must be a very satisfying feeling for you.
Oh yes, and a very nervous feeling too. The weather above us, it seems like we're cursed, but the quality of the cars that come from the east are second to none. So I think the competition tonight is going to be just right on.
Practice yesterday, I was impressed with a couple of people, in particular Peter Logue. I thought he was very fast.
Peter Logue was one of my first choices in the series. I saw him race in Adelaide last year. Very, very fast. So he's dialed this track so quick I couldn't believe it.
You've only had a short time behind the wheel of the new Falcons. Are you dialed in as well as you can be for this series?
Not as well as I wanted to be. We're actually still modifying the cars today because we still weren't really happy at practice yesterday. We've changed the cars around a little bit. It's all new for us, these Falcons. They're different wheelbase, different widths, different suspension. So we think we'll be pretty right tonight, though.
Wayne Hine, I noticed that it's car number 11 these days, not number 1. Why is that, Wayne?
Yeah, well, this weekend, we'll release the States drivers over. We don't want to sort of let them know who number 1 is. We want to try and sneak up on them a little bit and give them a bit of a hiding, hopefully.
One guy's already picked up a feature race win. Craig Nylander must be looking forward to this one.
Certainly are, Wade. I mean, obviously this is the big one of the year for us. I mean, obviously the state title's pretty important, but this really is a stepping stone to bigger things, and it's just going to be great if it comes off this weekend for everybody.
Watching practice yesterday, there's some very quick guys. Paul O'Neill, Ian Marshall, Peter Logue. You've raced against them before, but that was a couple of years ago now.
Oh, it was a while ago, that's for sure. I mean, those guys are just amazing. I mean, you look at them and I mean, Brad Blake and I were talking about it, and I mean, we still had another 20 years left in us, we reckon. The guys are not young, but, geez, they kick some butt on the track.
How does the new Pontiac feel?
Oh, the car's fantastic. It really is, Wade. This car can run with anything here, and it really is up to me now to do it out there.
Well, out of all the East Coast stars this weekend, I guess this guy probably knows Claremont better than most of them. Ian Marshall, mate, how does the track feel so far?
Track feels pretty good. We'll see how it goes later on in the night. It's same as it was last time, just a little shorter.
What type of preparation do you go in for a 3-night series, Ian? Is there any special game plan?
Bring all the spares you can find, load everything up you can get and bring it here and go like crazy when you get here.
Another one of the East Coast stars expected to do very well during this series. Alan Baker. Alan, it hasn't been exactly a dream build-up for you. You've had a few dramas just getting here.
Yeah, we've been trying to build a transporter, and the trip across was enough.
Mate, you've obviously know who the West Aussies are and who the quick ones are around this place, but the East Coast stars on their own will be tough to beat, I think.
Oh, yeah, they're all a good bunch of cars here. I've run against a lot of them in the title races, and the guys that come from the eastern states, they're quick as anybody, and it's just a luck game on the night. If you've got a bit of luck going with you, you can win. If sometimes you don't have a lot of luck, you can, as long as you come home unscathed. And we've got 3 nights of racing, so that's all we want to do.
It's a long way to come to run second, so obviously you're pretty determined, though.
Oh, yeah, I didn't come here to wear my old clothes out, so we come here to win.
Well, if there's a Hollywood race team in the pits this weekend, it's certainly Paul O'Neill's. The transporter looks magnificent, so does the race car. And, Paul, you looked pretty good at practice yesterday. Were you happy?
Yeah, we're pretty happy. The car's been running good for us, so it's running pretty good, so we're happy.
Is this place a little bit different to what you raced on over east?
Not really, not much different. It might be a little bit bigger than what we raced on most of the time, but we've got some tracks over there now that are bigger than here, so, you know, it's not really much different to what we run on at home.
Well, of course, you've got Bunbury and Collie still to come tomorrow night and the night after, so the tracks are going to vary. That'll bring the best and worst out of a lot of drivers, I think.
I think so. The guy that can set his car up the best and read the tracks, he'll win. There's no doubt about that, you know. So, ever who does their homework the best and reads the tracks and gets the right combination, they'll win.
I think perhaps the East Coast guys have got a little bit of an advantage in this series because of the fact you do so much racing on the East Coast. You can travel right up 3 states virtually to run on a weekend, can't you?
Yeah, we basically in the middle of January, so that's probably our biggest time. We'd race twice a week. We'd be if we weren't doing American tests or what have you, we'd be doing 40-lap feature races. So in January, February, we're really busy over there.
Paul, you're a very respected race car driver over here in the West. I'm sure the West Aussies are looking out for you. Who are you watching out for this weekend?
Oh, all the locals, mate. They'll all be fast. Don't worry about that. They'll know the track, what it's going to do. So the guys I'd be watching are all the local guys. They'll be tough.
What's he got?
I'd like you to welcome all our local sedan car drivers, and Brad Blake, Bert Bosbergen, Kevin Bell. Kevin Bell's wife today presented him with a baby boy, 9 pound 9 ounces. So put your hands together for Belly. And also Neil Brooks, the Olympic gold medalist, who will be racing tonight, and his wife is currently in hospital and she's in labour. So there must be something in the Bosbergen team that makes them want to produce babies, maybe future racers. Would you put your hands together now for Neil Brooks, Craig Bosbergen, Benny Ludlow, Jamie Moon, Ivor Ladwig, Robbie Whittington, former WA champion Robert Gray, Bruce Treneman, Greg Squance, Paul DeLacy, Darren Newmarch, Trevor Pascoe, Paul Stubber, Craig Nylander, John Cardy, Peter Richards, Des Alfirovich, Gary Hicks, Chad Johnson, and former Australian champion Tony Giancola, ladies and gentlemen. There are our own West Australian drivers. We'd like you to all to put your hands together and wish them all the very best for tonight's Tri-City Series.
What a night it's going to be. Have a look at that field. They're all up there. It's going to introduce the interstate stars. There's our East Coast guys. Good luck, guys. You're going to need it. We get around here pretty good. Of course, Peter Drew, Peter Logue, Paul O'Neill, Peter Aylett, John Rodder, Alan Baker, and Ian Gabby Marshall back there working on his car. There is a newcomer, Paul Stubber, strapping himself into the West Australian Housing Centre 53 Pontiac. Craig Nylander no doubt giving him a few words of encouragement as they come past you, ladies and gentlemen. How about wishing them all the best? There's all the West Aussies on the back of the John Day Ute. There is some talent on the back of that Ute. Well, come on, let's hear it for them. These are the West Aussie boys. Here come the East Coast Stars. Those guys are in for one heck of a night, the East Coast Stars. All the best to you guys. And there's old Bert winding the crowd up already. See what they're winding each other up at practice yesterday. A couple of the guys strapping themselves in for their first heat. Peter Brook, all the best, Brookie. Robbie Gray, the Mika Thara missile. Good luck to you too, Rob. Bruce Treneman, great to have you here, Bruce. Of course, Paul Stubber, the new kid on the block. Ivor the survivor. Ivor Ladwig at car number 12. And Junior Voz, Craig Vosbergen. Great to have Craig. He practiced very well yesterday, and I'm expecting a big return to form for Craig tonight. But there they are as they go through Foulhouse Corner, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for our own local drivers. And of course, the East Coast Stars who've come a long, long way to run second.
In laps, heat number 1 of the Tri-City Super Sedan Challenge. And Gabby Marshall off the front line. Pretty happy with that too, and he'll be looking for all cylinders firing in this one to get some early points on the board. John Day looks pretty happy with them now. They head out of turn number 4. Off and racing now, and Gabby Marshall, as expected, guns the number 2 car straight to the race lead. Drifts a little wide. Look at Ivor Ladwig. The West Australian looks to go underneath Gabby Marshall as they drag it out down the main straight for the first time. Of course, she was on with a vengeance there as Ian Marshall goes a little high this time. Again, Ladwig tries to go underneath. Can't go on with it. Craig Bosbergen back in third over Peter Brook. Back then to Robbie Gray. And the pressure is on. Gabby Marshall not afraid to go up high and look for the traction. And it's working for him at the moment as they go down the back. Out past the quit sign and into turn number 3. Ivor Ludwig ready to pounce too, and Marshall may have overcooked it this time. No, he hasn't. Just manages to stay in front, but Clyde tears it on out there. Craig Bosbergen ready to pounce on the inside of Ivor Ladwig, then to Peter Brook, who has to jump on the brakes to avoid a collision with Craig Bosbergen. Ian Gabby Marshall, your race leader, only just. Brilliant racing from Ivor Ladwig to Bosbergen. Brooke Gray followed through there by Stubber. Oh, it is on in a big way at the moment. Drew looking for a way through from the back of the field and can't find it now as Bosbergen. Sorry, excuse me, it was Ladwig. One up behind two and rearranged the right-hand fender. Ian Gabby Marshall leads it there from car number 8, Craig Bosbergen. Peter Brook now up into third. In fourth is Robbie Gray, back then to the boy that was right up with Gabby Marshall, and of course that is Ivor Ladwig, back then to Stubber. Cracker a place out there, Bruce Tranahan back there just in front of Peter Drew. That would be whipping them home at the moment. 5 down and 5 to go, and it's still Gabby Marshall going on his winning way in the number 2 car. Car looking immaculate, and they obviously got the gremlins out of it. The break between the hot laps and the first race. Craig Bosbergen starting to come at him. Brook in third, then to Gray Ladwig. Followed through there by Paul Stubber. Back then to the number 25 car of Bruce Treneman. Peter Drew in the 18 car at the tail of the field and playing the competition very hot at the moment. Craig Bosbergen with 3 laps in front of him is starting to close right up on the race leader, Ian Gabby Marshall. Brilliant Super Sedan action here at Claremont Speedway tonight. Marshall hasn't got it all his own way because Craig Bosbergen starting to ever so slowly close the gap. He'll need to get a whip on from here. Out of turn number 4 with 2 to go. Heat number 1 of the Tri-City Super Sedan Challenge in the hands at the moment of Ian Gabby Marshall. Craig Bosbergen right there with him. Can he find some more? There's a lap and a half to go. Into turn number 3. Here comes Bosbergen. Looks to go underneath Ian Gabby. Marshall straightens him up. Marshall too good on the outside. Bosbergen had a very good look. 1 lap to go. Can he get through this time? Marshall will be aware that Bosbergen's there. Will try to dive bomb him into turn number 3. Brilliant stuff indeed. Oh, Marshall, a wily customer he is. Hunts the concrete curb. Put your hands together for him. Takes win number 1 there ahead of Craig Bosbergen, Peter Brook, Robbie Gray, back then to Ivor Ladwig, Paul Stubber. Then to Treneman and whipping them home in the South Australian number 8 car was Peter Drew. The time, 3 minutes 26.9 even for the 10-lap journey.
Are there any Ben Ludlow fans in the crowd?
On 6,000, I suppose.
Oh, yes, just a few. Looks like John Day happy with them as they come off turn number 4. Green lights are on. We're underway. Carney and Hine, Ford and Holt. Although tonight I think we'll give that up, Chuck, because we want everybody in the West Coast to do well as they head out of the back straight.
Look at this.
Down the back straight, Pascoe's car's a bit of a bullet. Let's keep our eye on O'Neill out there as well. To go into turn number 3, Pascoe running high. So is Wayne Hine, and John Carney says, "Why, thank you, Wayne," as they come onto the main straight. Oh, it was close. Wayne Hine did not lift. He did not lift. He said, "You're not going to leave me into turn number 1. No chance." But gee, it's quick in a straight line. Have a look at the Hine Falcon as it heads down the back straight. Carney in a second. Higgs up to third. Back to Pascoe. O'Neill in there as well. So too Ludlow, so Giancola and Baker. Oh, O'Neill having a good look on the inside of Pascoe. Just had to jab on the brakes as we see Baker getting a half lose through turn number 4. But out of turn number 2. Ford versus Holden out there, but it's okay because it's the West Aussies. Wayne Hine leading. John Carney up to second. Good drive from the dustman. Gary Higgs into third. And once again, Ludlow looking for the outside run. O'Neill still trying to slip through on the inside of Pascoe. Coming on the main straight. Waiting to see if O'Neill can get a clear run. Oh, Hine sliced across the infield in front of Carney. Looks to rejoin the field. Could be a bit anxious there as O'Neill manages to get around the outside of him, but only just. Hine back a few places now. Look at Ludlow looking for the middle run this time round. Carney now inherits the lead. Back to Higgs. Pascoe, O'Neill, Ludlow starting to come on stream now. Wayne Hine, Tony Giancola and Alan Baker. Gary Higgs running very high. This will cost him a lot of ground. Here goes Pascoe. It's been a strong run from Trevor Pascoe. We haven't seen him run around here for some time, and this new car of his getting the job done back there in third. The Jim's Boeing number 60 Commodore of John Carney. Back there in second. It's been a good run as we see Alan Baker has lost it. Alan Baker loses it coming out of turn number 4. Ludlow just hosed O'Neill in a brilliant move through Foul House, but it's all to no avail. because Alan Baker's car is stationary right at the exit to turn number 4 and signalling to the guys he wanted to push start, but Ludlow's move inspirational in Foulhouse. You reckon? Off the circuit, Carney knows that he's the gas man. Away they go. They had the procedure explained to them during the drivers' meeting, and Carney hasn't forgotten it. Not likely, not off the front row at any rate. Gary Higgs up the second. Pascoe's been a strong drive, but keep your eye on the number 9 car because Ludlow's already got his eye in, and he would be loving this. Going around the outside of Paul O'Neill would give Ben Ludlow a certain sense of satisfaction you just could not ignore. They go into turn number 3. Here comes Ludlow on the outside. The Falcon, just like the Rambler before it, loves the high line. Now O'Neill moves Pascoe up track. Let's see what the 55 car's got at its disposal this time. Oh, he got straightened up. He got straightened up, O'Neill. He got the slingshot off the turn, but I think he just got bent across the bows of Pascoe as they went into turn number 1. Carney, strong drive from JC as he works his way off turn number 4. The Dustman, Gary Higgs, proving that the engine is a valuable acquisition. And Ludlow sets the outside run-up, round the outside. Once again, having a good look. He's letting O'Neill know that it's going to be there. With just 2.5 laps left to travel, Shorty is getting out the old gun sights for this one and looking for the outside run. He's up too high this time round. Look at O'Neill now, starting to put Higgs under the hammer. It's been a strong drive from O'Neill. Back into position number 5, up into third and pushing for second. 1.25 laps left to travel. Ludlow making short work of Pascoe, but Pascoe gets the run off the turn. So often it happens. You don't get a good line off the corner.
Oh, John Carney up very high.
To his defence, he's got a lot of room with only 1 lap left to travel, but certainly he couldn't afford to do that too many times. Higgs desperately trying to hang on. Carney seems to have a problem. Yeah, the car is pulling up. Seems to be smoking a little bit too. Now he's got the job done. O'Neill slots up to third. Here comes Ludlow again for a last lap lunge. The good win to JC, Johnny Carney. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, West Aussies again take the win from Gary Higgs. Paul O'Neill, strong drive, back to Shorty Ben Ludlow. Back then to Trevor Pascoe, Wayne Hine, Tony Giancola and Alan Baker. All up time for the last 5 laps, 1 minute 42.10.
Big run from Brad Blake. He's got a bit of open territory in front of him with that vacant spot. Let's see what happens now as the greens go on. We've got ourselves a motor race. As Brake sets it up very high, the little Pantera inside the meat and the sandwich. Can he get off the turn? You bet your bottom dollar he can. Look at Brad Blake around the outside. Oh, brain snuffing stuff now as he heads into third place. Sees one car go up high and snatches second. Oh, the kid any good or what? Believe you me, he is. Out there at the moment, it is Peter Logue about to feel the fury of young Brad Blake. Here comes Chad Johnson. Bert can't get the little Pantera to put the pound to the ground. Peter Logue, your race leader in car number 6. Brad Blake, the Bunbury Nissan 0 car, sitting there in second. In third would be Darren Newmart. Chad Johnson has a look at the left-hand rear quarter panel and tries to rearrange it as Bert Vosberger starts to get wound up. In the little Pantera, Chad Johnson on the outside, goes up where Angel's fear to tread. Bert Vosberger tries to come underneath. Peter Logue still your race leader. This is right on in the moment too, apart from the 2 guys in front. Look at the scrap going on for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Chad Johnson using every inch of the raceway. Newmart's looking very tidy in 3rd place. Peter Logue now is starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Brad Blake in the number 0 Bunbury Nissan car. Here goes Chad Johnson, the big dive bomb, and oh, nowhere to go. They all straighten each other up, and the bloke that come out of that better than the rest was Big Bad Bird. He was looking to go underneath. The other 2 guys tangled, and through he went. Peter Logue from Brad Blake. Bert Vosberger up into 3rd over Chad Johnson. Back then to Darren Newmart. He's on with a vengeance out there at the moment. Well, they are up, down and all over the place at the moment, doing everything they can. Pantera is starting to get himself wound right out at the moment, but and off goes Brad Blake. Bump coming out of turn number 4 and just handed a very comfortable lead to Peter Logue. Down the back, Big Bad Bird inherits 2nd place now. Starts to close the gap on the race leader. Chad Johnson sitting back there in 3rd. We've got 3 and a bit laps left in this one to go. Yes, that's right. 3 to go. Peter Logue it is, back there in 2nd. Still is Bert Vosberger over 85. Chad Johnson. Down the back they go. Peter Logue making the most of his front line start. Car handling superbly the number 6 car. Chad Johnson still in hot pursuit of the Pilkington glass car of Bert Bosbergen. Back then to Brad Blake, who just learned another little lesson, I think, in his early part of his career in Super Sedans. Look at this, 3 cars locked together as they head down towards the white flag. 9 completed, 1 to go. Can there be a desperate lunge by Bert Bosbergen at the race leader, Peter Logue? Let's have a look at it. Here he comes. Looks to go down the inside. Oh, couldn't go inside, had the bonnet chopped off. Looking for a run round the outside, Bert, but not enough. Peter Logue takes it. Bert Bosbergen for second, third place. Chad Johnson over Brad Blake. Back then to Newmarch. Peter Island, it was the one I was looking for through there. What a race. 3 minutes 25.09 with a 10-lap journey, but I must say pleasantly surprised. The closest to the competition is the feature to me that has been particularly good. And some very quick machinery up their way.
Yep, no doubt about that. Alfirovich from 1 will be tough to beat. Whittington alongside him, so it's the Commodore versus the Pontiac. Alfirovich gets the run. Got a couple of Pontiacs back there in the field. Jamie Moon at the rear. I believe he's on the outside. It's Peter Richards looking for the outside run on Whittington. Let her out of the bag, Pete. Let's go racing as they go into turn number 3. John Rodder's in there as well. So too is Nylander. Rodder floating about a half-track run. Alfirovich hanging onto the curb as they work their way out of the main straight. Good drive from Peter Richards in the early going of this one. Back there in second, Pete Richards, as we were saying. Back to Robbie Whittington in third. John Rodder, Nylander tries the outside run on Rodder. Down the back straight and gives Rodder the rudder as they go into turn number 3. Blows him away, puts himself up into 4th. Alfirovich is high.
Where'd you get that?
I don't know, but it's, I hope it doesn't appear again.
Give Rodder the rudder.
Up to second, we have, of course, got Peter Richards. Robbie Whittington's up to third. And riding around in Super Sedans for some time. Nylander's the big charger up to 4th. Back to John Rodder. Paul DeLacy's in there as well, and Jamie Moon. But getting back to what you said, Chuck, is evenness. You can throw a bikini strap over this field, and they're doing an excellent job of it. Great racing to be seen from this one. Now, Alfirovich continuing to blitz the field as Nylander loops it. Rodder's there. Oh, well done, Paul DeLacy. Managed to catch Nylander right in the centre of the door, but he did it with the squarest part of the car he could find, and that is, of course, the boot. And minimised the damage, I think, that Nylander would have received from that.
A lot of speed off before he did it too, which saved a lot of drama, a lot of panel work for Craig Nylander. He just went in a little bit too quick and put it around. DeLacy showing all his experience there and saw what was happening and was very quickly to turn his car around.
Shirley and Clarina. Okay, there's Alfirovich initiating the start. The old witch's hat rule working very well. He gets a bit of a push, however, as they come off the turn. Onto the main straight, Richards follows him. Back to Robbie Whittington, John Rodder, Jamie Moon, and Nylander with the crease in the right-hand side of the car. Doesn't look like it's handling particularly well either. Nylander has his hands full. They head down the back straight, and Alfirovich starts to pull a car length on Peter Richards. Whittington slots in there as well. So too for Rodder and Jamie Moon. Nylander's definitely got a problem with the 54 car. It's not handling the best. Have a look at Richards now. Gets out the old squeeze treatment on Des Alfirovich. Well, if I had $1 for every lap that Richards and Alfirovich have put around this place, we'd both be wealthy, Chuck, as they head down the back straight, because they've been doing it for years. Richards once again gets it down nice and low. Alfirovich comes off the turn about a half-track run. Gets that big Abbott's Radiators Commodore on the main straight once more. Whittington shaves a layer of paint off the main straight fence. Richards. Rodder up to 4th, and as you say, the Pirate Pete dropped back a little there, had to get on the brakes. But he's coming back strongly, and with 4 1/4 laps left to travel, Richards has got the race lead in his sights here as Alfirovich gets a big push. Peter Richards says, thank you very much. And now Alfirovich is forced to become the aggressor and try and manufacture something out of nothing. Richards, once again, gets a big dip coming out of turn number 2. Alfirovich is quick to jump on his tail, but as they go into turn number 3, they're all starting to bunch up a little here. Whittington's about to be under siege from Rodder, and Moon and Nylander having their own scrap, but Richards continuing to blitz the field. 3 laps left to travel. He's timed this run very well, but look at this field bunching up now. Whittington's in there, so is Rodder. It's a 4-way battle for the race lead. Moon having his own scrap with Nylander as they head down the back straight into turn number 3. Robbie Whittington now finds himself in the sandwich. They come off turn number 4, continuing to lead. Peter Richards back to Alfarm. It's Whittington up the turn. Go back to John Rodder. It's Rodder now starting to put Whittington under the hammer in no uncertain terms. Out of turn number 2 and down the back straight. Alfarm, if anything, starting to come back at Richards. And look at Rodder having a go at Whittington. It's on everywhere you look out there at the moment in heat number 4 of the Tri-City Sedan Challenge, proudly brought to us by Checkpoint. 1 lap left to travel. Just have a look at Peter Richards doing a great job of it. 3/4 of a lap left to travel. Our Farmage closing, but it could be too late. Back there in third, it's Whittington, Rodder, Moon and Nylander. Midway through turn numbers 3 and 4. If you're not applauding for Peter Richards, what's stopping you? As they come onto the main straight, he got a little bit chonky. Gets the win. Second to Alfarmage, third Chuck to Whittington, fourth to Rodder, fifth to Moon, sixth to Nylander in a Neil handling car. All up time for the last 7 laps. The Checkpoint Tri-City Sedan Challenge, heat number 4. All up time, 2 minutes, 24:23.
Robbie Gray.
Especially with Chad Johnson's spirited drives, one of the best drives I've seen from Chad so far. Keith Giles sets his car up. The former speed car, or I should say former, but the speed car champ, as Drew goes very high. Oh, look at Chad Johnson. He was right up behind Robbie Gray as they came onto the main straight. Very congested field as they run into Foul House corner, but you don't get the message that Chad Johnson giving Robbie Gray the hurry up as they head down the back straight. Well, the Mika Thara miner in front of the Leonora Gold miner. So the 2 miners out in front. They're both over 18 as they come onto the main straight. Gray continuing to lead this from Johnson, and back then to Peter Drew, starting out of position 2 and now back into 3, and Johnson is setting about looking for this race lead as they head down the back straight. Robbie Gray just brushes him aside as they come off 2. Going into turn number 3, I tell you what, Chad Johnson is burning out there. It's the best we've seen Chadwick in a long time. On the main straight once more, Peter Drew up to 3rd, back to Richards for 4th. Newmark, Treneman, Lowe and Ivor Labwick. But again, Johnson gets right into the left rear of Gray. Oh, just made a bit of a move. Here comes Peter Drew around the outside. Gray departs stage left. And it's all happening going into turn number 3. Onto the main straight once more. Chad Johnson continuing to lead. Back there in second, it's Peter Drew.
And who would be a sedan steward?
Not I, said the wall. I'd have that white jacket off and hidden in the corner of the steward's box right now.
Yeah.
Johnson now inherits the race lead. Peter Drew bouncing his way through the turn. Yellow lights are on, bringing this race back under caution. Well, Robbie Gray, the Mika Thara missile. Do you reckon he got a nudge or not?
I don't think there's any doubt about that, none in my mind anyway.
Well, he's back out there now. He's a very talented campaigner and an awesome race car at his disposal. The Cardi Brothers prepared car.
They might just put him back in the front of the field for the restart. Let's see what happens. I'm just taking a wild guess at that.
Well, looks like there's an ROF flag coming out here very shortly. We'll wait and see who it's waved at. Here it comes anyway. It's not yet unfurled. Now it's ready for action. Here we go. Where is it being pointed? Right at Chad Johnson in car number 85. So, rear field flag to Chad. He was pretty keen.
Mate, the stewards aren't mucking about tonight, are they?
No way.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't like to be controversial. Mate, if that wasn't a deluxe touch, I'd seen nothing in all these years of Speedway.
Touch is kind of being a little bit fair, I think.
It's nice as I can say. Okay, it's hard racing, but these boys at that speed know what they're doing out there too. But anyway, that's part of it. I don't think there's any malice man in him. Yeah, he touched him. He's going to cop the consequences. That's how the steward saw it.
Yeah, and of course, there's still 3 nights in this, so it's a long way to go. And you want to have your machinery intact. The stewarding has got to be strict. It's got to be straight down the line, because at the end of it, you want to still have your race car out there. They motor around out of turn number 4 under caution, still waiting for Chad Johnson to get back to the rear by the looks of it. Bob Chalmers coming out to deliver him the flag. So Gray from Drew, from Richards, Newmarch, from Treneman, from, of course, car number 6, the pick-apart car, which is starting to lose a few of those. The Peter Logue number 6 car, and Ivor Ladwick. Called losing weight.
Yeah.
7 laps left to travel still in this one, so still a lot of racing.
Well, Bob Chalmers gave them the word then, so...
I don't know, Chuck. Would you say that the next 6-7 laps from Chad will be fairly spirited?
I think they might be.
Witch's Hat system underway. We're underway once more in the rerun of the restart of heat number 5 of the Tri-City Checkpoint Sedan Challenge. So Robbie Gray continues to lead them away. Let's watch Chad Johnson just at the back of the field when we get a chance. trying to round up Labwick now as they head down the back straight. Richards trying to take on Drew. Newmarch is in there as well as they head down the back straight. Peter Logue from Victoria working over Treneman as they come through turn number 3 and 4. Look how sideways they are. On the main straight, Peter Richards right up there into third. Good battle now. Here comes Logue. Starting to put Treneman under the hammer. Johnson can't find a way through. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Meekatharra Missile. Look at the battle here. Logue trying to put Treneman under the hammer. And Bruce says not this time. Won't have a chance there. Up high is Peter Drew. Flying the flag high for the Crow Eaters tonight. Peter Drew from South Australia. Richards up to third. Newmarch for fourth. Back to Treneman. Peter Logue over Labwick and Chad Johnson. But the Meekatharra Missile. This is the form that's seen him finish fourth in an Australian title and win a state title in only his, something like his third year of racing down here at the Claremont Bright Lights. And he works his way into the main straight. Peter Drew and Peter Richards having a good battle. Back to Newmarch, Treneman, Logue, Labwick and Chad Johnson. Cannot find a way past Labwick to make any impression on this field. 3 1/4 laps left to travel and a sheet of flame blasting out the side of the Trans Am. Come on to the main straight, Robbie Gray continuing the blitz from the main straight. Peter Drew still leading the battle for second at least. Peter Richards up to third. Down the back straight, Robbie Gray to Pontiac, not a Trans Am, my mistake. They go into turn number 3. But tell you what, Peter Richards starting to put him under the hammer, but look at this battle for the minors. Richards down low, Drew up way too high. Here comes Richards again for a good look. Logue still trying to put Treneman under the hammer. Good lap times there too, 1987 from Robbie Gray. With 1.5 laps left to travel, the battle's on everywhere you look. The sedan racing's been fast and furious. Oh, Logue leads on Treneman again. Labwick goes to the outside run and brushes the wall. Here comes Richards, puts the South Aussie back to third. Good drive, Pete. Peter Drew pulling up. There seems to be a problem with the car. It looked for a minute there, Chuck, like he thought that was a checkered flag coming out, but there's definitely a problem. 1/4 lap left to travel, and West Aussies rejoice because here comes the Meekatharra Missile. Oh, we got problems back in the field. They didn't see Peter Drew slowing. Johnson slew sideways to miss him. So did Logue. Gray gets the win from Richards and Newmarch. Back to Bruce Treneman. Peter Logue, good gutsy drive in the end. Back to Labwick and Johnson and Peter Drew. The car pulled up down the back straight and no one knew but Peter himself. Time for the 7 laps was 2 minutes 20.31. The OK Ludlow on the outside line. Jamie Moon right alongside him. Brad Blake tucked in there, so too Vosberg, and what a heat this is. Away they go. Ludlow heads him into turn number 1. Brad Blake up to second. Cardi in there as well, so too Vosbergen. Pasco up to 5th place now. Alfirovich in there as well. Oh, Jamie Moon slowing dramatically coming out of turn number 2, but Ludlow out in front doing a pretty good job of it at the moment, but you get the feeling that Brad Blake making a bit of ground on him. They go into turn number 1. Let's see who's got the longer legs, the Pontiac of Blake or the Falcon of Ludlow. Down the back straight they head once more. Cardi up to 3rd, Vosbergen. That little Pantera just continues to look better and better with every run. Now Alfirovich up to 5th. Oh, Cardi got a good strong look at the left rear quarter panel of Blake's car then. Brad Blake gets back on the gas now. He was running very strongly in his first heat and ended up looping the model onto the main straight and hurt him considerably in the point score chase. This is his last heat race appearance and he knows it. He's going to come up with something special. Will he sit and hold down second? Or will he make his run for first? The answer is just about answers itself, that question. Head through turn number 2 and down the back straight. Look at Carney in there as well. So too Vosbergen, Alfirovich, Gary Higgs, back to Trevor Pascoe. And Nylander pulls the 54 car infield. Here they come. Still leading Ben Ludlow. Brad Blake right in there. I'll tell you what, these sedans are motoring around this place at the moment. Looks like a bit of sparks coming out from the number 60 Commodore of John Carney as they head down the back straight. Well, Brad Blake went around the outside of a number of sedan competitors a few weeks back. He better get it together quick now because Carney had a good look on the inside there. On the main straight, Ben Ludlow continuing to lead. Brad Blake. Carney is a strong runner. Really starting to get the Jibs mowing Commodore up into 3rd place now and pushing for a stronger run. Down the back straight once more. Vosbergen is just about reeling them all in at this stage. But Blake's car not handling particularly well between turns number 3 and 4. Needs a couple of Munro shocks on that. They go into turn number 1 once more. Blake, there's definitely sparks of some form coming out from underneath the 60 Commodore. They go into turn number 1. Let's have a look next time through. Ludlow now realising that he's pretty well got this in his keeping if he can hold a fast line. make them work their way around him. Blake up there in the second once more. Carney yet again into turn number 1. This time no sparks going into that turn. Vosbergen is letting these guys just sit around and enjoy their time out in front, but you get the feeling that it's not too much of a problem. Look at Blake's car getting up on its haunches midway through turn number 3 and 4. Ludlow continuing to lead. The battle between Blake and Ludlow going on in earnest as they head out of turn number 2. Look at Burt sitting back in 4th. Gary Higgs and Des Alfirovich having their own battle with Trevor Pascoe back at the rear. 1 1/4 laps left in front of us, and Ben Ludlow hanging on at the moment. The Ford fans ready to rejoice, but the Pontiac sitting right on his hammer with 1 to travel. John Carney, gee, that car's tight. You can see it pushing through the turns. Down the back straight, Blake doesn't have the real estate or the time on his hands to make this one, but he will collect second, and that'll be some big points for him. Up to 3rd, it's Carney. 4th, it's Vosbergen. Come on, Ford fans. Shorty Ben Ludlow gets the win. 2nd to Brad Blake. 3rd to John Carney. 4th to Bert Vosbergen. We go back to the Dustman, Gary Higgs. Back to Des Alfirovich in car number 73. Trevor Pascoe, good drive in car number 41. All up time for the 10 laps. Yet another heat of the Tri-City Sedan Challenge, proudly brought to us by Checkpoint. All up time, 3 minutes 17:97.
The Tri-City Super Sedans, proudly brought to you by Checkpoint. Hyundai not happy with the way they're lined up. Going to send them around one more time. Official results for event number 12. First car number 88. Craig Oakley took the win from 87. Jeff Hancock a 3rd to 74. Gary Venning. The time for the 6-lap journey was 2 minutes 02.8 even. Right, should get ourselves a start this time. 8 cars over 10 laps. Starting to wind the lackey up now as John Day starts to head for the infield. And, yep, greens are on now as we see the outside. The pressure was right on there too as Baker it is through, went out high, then goes underneath. And look at Brookie around the outside. On come the yellows as one car has shed a wheel in the middle of turns 1 and 2. We'll just parting company, so a broken axle or stripped a lot of wheel nuts, one or the other. Alan Baker, number 3 there. We can't blame the mechanic for that. It's obviously just a failure, but you can see it's done a little bit of damage when it's done at 2 and started to tear it up. Set for the restart, get ourselves a green. Alan Baker, I should say, away very well as the boys really start to scrap it out into turn number 1. Here comes Stubber, right in behind him O'Neill, and where's Peter Brook? Sets it up high, wide and handsome in the Falcon and loses a little bit of ground. Rodder has a look underneath now as they come underneath the time clock, and round goes O'Neill, and around goes Paul Stubber. 2 out in 1 hit. Peter Brooks said thank you very much as the yellows come on. They didn't send them all this way to leave them on the grass, quite obviously. No, Paul O'Neill jabbed the clutch in a big hurry to keep the number 55 car fired up. Great job to keep the car running. Paul Stubber, the immaculate 53 car. Is he going to get a restart? Gets pushed away. Alan Baker, Peter Aylett. They're off and running. Alan Baker leads them away out of turn number 4 now with 9 big laps to go. Peter Aylett in second over Paul O'Neill. Boy, gee, it's on here at the moment too. The Eastern State is really starting to dominate this one. Let's see if Peter Brook can break up the charge in the immaculate 15 EA Falcon. Down the back they go, and Brook using all his craft, sitting it up high, wide and handsome, looks for a run round the outside of Paul O'Neill. Can he go on with it? Not at the moment. They're taking up the whole racetrack. As again, Brook up high, gives O'Neill a love tap up the rear end, just to let him know he's there, and goes on with the job down the back. Brilliant stuff now, nose to tail racing as they disappear underneath the timing clock. Alan Baker, your race leader from Peter Aylett, then to Paul O'Neill, Peter Brook, and all the P's out there at the moment. I can tell you, 46, John Rodder, sitting right in there. Brookie waiting to pounce now as the racetrack starts to open up just a little bit for him. You'll have to watch it as one goes out wide. Brook ducks it down low. Can he move into 3rd place? You bet your sweet pippy he can. He puts the guy out wide now. Brook moves into 3rd. O'Neill in 2nd, and Alan Baker still your race leader. Well, the mob roaring for Peter Brook at the moment now, trying to split up the Eastern States invasion at the moment. Peter Brook looking immaculate right on the tail of Paul O'Neill. At the number 55 car as they head into turn number 1, the pressure is on. Brook takes a look underneath. Right back then to Robbie Whittington. 3 cars locked nose to tail down the back. Here's a go here. Bingo! Peter Brook looks to go underneath. And on come the yellows. Yeah, I thought they might, and I think Paul O'Neill might get the Roth flag. Without being controversial, of course, but the way it's been going. Okay, the battle is on. I don't care what cars they're in. All I want to do is see Peter Brook, being a West Australian. Out there, I got out of that nicely, Orange, didn't I? Okay, greens are on, off-end racing. Alan Baker leads Peter Brook. And have a look at this. He's right on the medal at the moment, too, trying to get up there with Alan Baker. The Burnett Transport, Chamberlain's Auto Electrics, number 15 Falcon. There as Alan Baker starts to pull away a little bit. Brookie's got some work to do. John Rodder up there in the 46 car in 3rd place. Nearly followed through there by Peter Aylan, then to Paul Stubber, Robbie Whittington, with Paul O'Neill at the rear of the field. Baker looking pretty good at the moment. 3.5 laps left in front of him. He charges down past the quit sign. 3 and a bit laps left to go, and Brook starting to come at him. Sets up a beautiful line underneath. The Burnett Transport Falcon gets alongside Alan Baker. Dives it in hard and grabs the race lead away from Baker. Have a look at this. Baker's got the sit on the outside, though. Oh, good racing from Alan Baker. 1 car up in a cloud of smoke. Paul Stubber it is. Can Brook come back? That was great racing from Alan Baker. Take nothing away from this fella. He knows how to race. Rodder in 3rd. Paul Stubber about to expire in a big way. The amount of smoke coming out of the engine of the 53 Falcon. Down the back now, 1 1/4 laps left to go. Baker holding off a very determined challenge from Peter Brook. Back then to Rodder, Aylan, Stubber, followed through by Whittington and Paul O'Neill. But look at Peter Brook on the inside of Alan Baker, who closes the door. Has he got enough? I don't think so. Baker should not drift high here. He knows Brookie's right there. They come out of turn number 4. Great racing. Alan Baker takes the win from... yeah, he's on fire, all right. Peter Brook, John Rodder for 3rd, and Paul Stubber's going to pay dearly because the 53 car is on fire, and the crew, the fire crew, right on the job. They're right alongside him. I don't know where the Stubber knows he's on fire, but I think he's about to find out. Pulls it off very, very quickly as the crew get to him with the fire extinguishers. Very quickly onto the job. That was a great sedan car drive from Alan Baker. No doubt about that. Peter Brook, we all know how good Pete is. But Baker, not to be denied, fought back to take the win in the time of 1 minute 42.48.
This will be a very exciting race, I have no doubt whatsoever. They head on the main straight. Giancola streets them. Nylander tries to slip through up to 2nd. He needs a big performance in this heat race because things haven't gone his way in heat number 1. Down the back straight, squats that nippy little RX-7. Trying to put the run on Nylander, but he goes too high. Nylander, here comes Craig Vosbergen from Subiaco as they work their way on the main straight. Giancola leading from Nylander, back to Vosbergen, squats to Lacey and Gabby Marshall off the back, finding the going a bit tough in the early laps. Bert Vosbergen off the back in the number 4 Pantera. A few dramas out there as well, but Giancola under the hammer from Nylander. Nylander will do well to pass Tony Giancola because he is one of the most crafty drivers in the business. Has the ability to stretch a car that would normally only occupy about 1/5 of the track. He'll stretch that thing from the curb to the fence and you won't be able to find a way through. Nylander a second, but look at Vosbergen. They've really got the number 8 Commodore sorted. Greg Squants dives in low. DeLacy's in there, so too Gabby Marshall, who's having a disappointing run so far. Had a heat win in his first one, granted, but off the back it's a little bit tougher. They say a lot of people are good off the front row. Gabby certainly can come from the back when he gets a chance, but at this stage, he's got his hands full. Giancola continuing to blitz this field as he works the Coatsire Commodore onto the main straight once more. Nylander up to 2nd, the big crease down the side of the AMCAP BBK car. Back there in 3rd, Craig Vosbergen having a day out, the number 8 Pilgin and Commodore. Isn't it great to see? Well, you tell what, the car leans right over on the right-hand side through the turns. You can see it hiking. The left steerer, I tell you what, that thing is really laying over. When you start getting the the left steerer in the air, you know that the car's leading right over. And he's making some ground on Nylander all the time. It seems to be cornering at an incredible speed. And down the straights, it's got a lot of toe as well. So Nylander pretty soon is going to have to start driving very defensively. Look at that Vosbergen car, propping and pitching and turning. Back there into third place. Squan's up to fourth. DeLacy for fifth and Gabby Marshall in sixth place at this stage. Down the back straight, Giancola got this lead and he's keeping it. Isn't he doing it well? Very smooth to watch, magnificent looking race car and a great exponent of the sport. A man who tasted national title champagne in the Grand National several years ago, and of course a state champion in Super Sedans. And he is just smooth as glass, this man. Down the back straight once more, TG, Tony Giancola, proprietor of Kenwick Vehicle Wholesalers and Albany Highway in Kenwick. Look at Craig Vosbergen's car. That is almost unnatural the way that thing is leaning over on the right front. It just doesn't look like it should be set like that, but I tell you what, it's working. Down the back straight, Giancola once again now opens up about half the back straight. A bit of a half to three-quarter, I should say, over Nylander for second. And Vosbergen riding the Pilkington sidecar out of turn number 4. 1 lap left to travel for Giancola. I told you we'd be a tough man to toss off the front row. Tony Giancola just eats them up. Gabby Marshall trying once again on Paul DeLacy. They come through turn number 3 and 4. TG, Tony Giancola, great win, great drive, flag to flag, and TG be a happy man. Puts the Kotar Commodore into the winner's circle. Second to the AJN Performance Plus West Australian Housing Centre Pontiac of Nylander. Back to the Pilkington McDonald's 7th News, number 8 Commodore of Vosbergen. Back to Greg Squants in car number 26. Paul DeLacy in the Urtec 27 car. And Ian Gabby Marshall in car number 2. The West Aussies holding their own in this Eastern State Invasion. All up time for the 10 laps. 3 minutes, 13:38. Everyone's going to have a crack at the same piece of real estate, Chuck, and that's going to come right down to picking the best line.
Pretty smooth too, Peter Richards now. He cost himself a little bit of time there. Went up a little wide. It's not a bad time. A 1971. Let's see what he does on the an expensive one. I'll get back to that in a minute. As he comes down the back now with just a third of a lap to go. Out of turn number 4-2. This looks a lot better as he comes off turn number 4. Has he nailed this one or hasn't he? A 1966. That's the quick time for Peter Richards. Let's hear it for him, fans, because the man's worked hard tonight. As out onto the an all-up 2-lap time of 39:38.
And the overall time being the one that's taken tonight. The overall time of 39:38 must be quicker than anybody else out there overall for Peter Richards to earn the pole. Well, Cardi got a little bit of a loose moment coming through turn number 2, and that's going to cost him dearly. Only the slightest miscalculation can cause you a lot of problems, but Cardi now gets it back on the rail. Out of turn number 4 and onto the main straight once more. Cardi, 2020. Wrong with his vision as he runs through Foul House Corner as they head down the back straight. He's hoping for a stronger run this time, and the car seemed a lot straighter out of the turn. This thing's a bullet in a straight line.
It is.
Chris and John have been working very hard on OT, of course. They come out of turn number 4, a little bit high, about a mid-track run. Let's see what the time is all up. Good time, 1985. So all up time of 40.05. 40.05. But so far, Pirate Pete still on top.
Yep. Okay, number 24. Robbie Gray, make a thorough missile. Let's see what he can do. A long time between drinks for Robbie Gray as he winds it up now and cuts the beam for lap number 1. And
listen to that engine, that is tough.
Sounds really strong, this thing, no doubt about that. Car number 24, Robbie Gray, about to cut down lap number 1 and see what he can do, I should say, the next time around. Cost himself a little bit of time there, but not a bad time either. A 1962 first up. Quick time, so if he can put 2 of these together, it might put him up in the ballpark with Peter Richards.
He's driving very straight, Joe. He's hanging right down to the curb, not backing the car in by any means, keeping it nice and straight and just doing all the work in the straights.
Yep, fires it off now and cuts the beam at 19.10. I think that would put him right in amongst it. That'd make Robbie Gray the fastest so far. A 38.73 just sneaks ahead of Peter Richards. So right at the moment, he's off pole.
Well, where are the Ben Ludlow fans?
Yeah, well, he's just been round in about 1/2 a second, I think, or quicker. Righto, here's Shorty Ben Ludlow. There'll be a multitude of fans out there, and look out for some hot ones from the short one.
One or two.
Exactly.
They go into turn number 3. Let's have a look at the style of Benny Ludlow. He's doing much the same thing. Driving it very straight into the turn. Let's have a look and see how quick it is in a straight line. Drops in with a 19.59, so that's right in there as well.
That's the quickest opener.
And Ray Holkyard watching this one with interest, no doubt, as they head down the back straight. Let's have a look at Ludlow this time. Just under half a lap left to travel. Let's see what he can do. He's chasing a 19.10 at least to get right in there with Robbie Gray. Here comes the time and looks quick. 19.57. All up 39.16. 39.16. And that will put him in around about third, I would say, possibly even
in
second.
about second spot it puts him. Robbie Gray at 38.73. Ben Ludlow 39.16. Peter Richards at 39.38.
And Chuck, has Jeff Pilgrim been setting Craig Wasbergen's sedan? Because
left-hand hiker.
Oh, it's getting right up there, but it's quick. This is the best we've seen Craig run in some time.
Yeah, look at this thing. Hike the left-hand wheel. Unbelievable. Look at this. Just carry it around. Let's do the tricycle act in the Pilgrim class car, and it's washed out on him now. That's cost him a lot. 19.42 was a quick opener, but he just blew it into turn number 1. Look at him carry this thing around. Unbelievable. The big car is just hiking the left-hand front wheel. Looks good. And stops it at a 20.48. His opener was a beauty. The second one, he blew it on with a 39.91.
Apparently Bert went up to before the race, said we've got to save on rubber.
Okay, where are you, Brookie fans? Here he is, Mr. Immaculate, number 15, for Burnett Transport and Chamberlain's Auto Electrics. Bob up in turn 4 of Gowan Burko. Righto, let's see what Brookie can do. And well, under your hats, I think the guy could pull out something special here. Sets it on the concrete curb, smooth as silk as he runs towards the beam. Stops it at 19.83. The second one will want to pick up. He's in the ballpark. Let's see if he can get it around a little bit quicker. This is the second of his 2 laps. Out in the back he goes there with the time clicking away there out of turn number 4. Lost a little bit on the entry, I would suggest now. Stops it at a 19.58. 2-lap time, a 39.41. 39.41 puts him 3/100ths outside, who was that? Outside Peter Richards. So that puts Robbie Gray, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, right in there with a 38. Righto, here we go. This is the champion Spark Plugs. Checkpoint, Tri-City, B-Main as car number 19 leads them into turn number 1. That's Peter Ayler. Chad Johnson having a piece of the inside action here as they drag it out down the back. Ayler got the speed over Chad Johnson, goes high, and Johnson says thank you very much and grabs the race lead. Peter Ayler back in second there, right with him, Bruce Trenneman in car number 25. Who's having a look on the inside here? Could be Ivor Ladwig. Gets in behind Greg Squanson in the 26 Mazda. Brilliant stuff now as 12-lap journey already down to 10. Chad Johnson, your race leader. Peter Ayler, Bruce Trenneman 25, Greg Squanson 26. Back then to number 12, Ivor Ladwig, looking for a way through on the little black Mazda. And might have the legs down the back straight to do it. Mazda not to be denied, but now goes a little wide, gets up into the heavy going. Through as one, we've got cars all over the place there as we saw Paul Stubber involved in that. He got out of it. Wasn't the case for Greg Squanson or Paul DeLacy. And a very good job DeLacy, and that's twice he's had to do that tonight. We see that okay, the boys are off and running now as they go down past the Witch's Hat on the back straight. Chad Johnson leads them away in front of Peter Ayler. Back then to the 25 car. Bruce Trenneman has one car has gone into the wall at 1,000,000 mile an hour, and the wheel's gone over the fence by the looks of things. That was Paul Stubber. Oh, just a Chad Johnson will lead them into the final 5 laps of this checkpoint Tri-City B-Main as he gets the race underway. The race leader, Chad Johnson, the Freeway Auto Services number 85 car. Peter Aylen back then to Bruce Trenneman. I think it'll be over Ivor Ladwick. Then to Peter Drew, and at the rear of the field at this point in time, number 27 is Small Paul DeLacy. Chad Johnson has got the 85 car hooked up and running out there tonight, and unfortunately, of course, the little bit of bother earlier cost him any chance of getting into the A-Main when he got sent to the rear of the field. But by gee, he's just showing them at the moment how well he can get around the big Claremont circuit. Peter Aylen looking good in second. Here comes Trenneman, I think it is. Yes, it is now. As look at that time, at 19:29 there by Chad Johnson. So he is certainly doing the job out there at the moment. No doubt about that. Bruce Trenneman on the tail there of Peter Aylen back then to Ivor Ladwick. That would have put Chad Johnson in that time trial with the fastest lap. Oh, that would have put him up there full stop. 2 laps like that. Unbelievable the way Johnson's going out there at the moment. Unfortunately, it's come at the wrong end of the night for him, and he'll try and make amends tomorrow night at Bunbury, on Sunday night at Collie. Out of turn number 4, he comes with just 1 to go. White flag is out. Chad Johnson, number 85, leads it from Peter Aylen back then to Bruce Trenneman over Ladwick. Peter Drew and Paul DeLacy as they split the tyres going into turn number 1. All over bar the shouting for Chad Johnson. Out of turn number 4 he comes, heads for the line, grabs the checkered flag. A very convincing win. Peter Aylen takes second in the checkpoint Tri-City Sedan Challenge B-Main, just over Bruce Trenneman back then to Ivor Ladwick. Peter Drew and Paul DeLacy. Time for the last 5 laps was 1 minute 35.99. Look at that field, Chuck. Pick a winner in there. Nah, pass. Big races like this, you'd have to go with the likes of Ben Ludlow. Peter Brook's always there, of course. You know, Bozzie's been there and done it a million times. Tony Giancola, although he's pretty well back in the field, mate. But consistency's going to tell the story in this one.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, now putting your hands together for you as they come past, and a 3-wide salute to you, the fans of Claremont Speedway, for coming along and being a part of the Checkpoint Tri-City Sedan Challenge. Let's hear it for them as they come through turn number 4. Gray, Ludlow, Brook, Richards, Carty, Marshall. What a field just on the front row. These guys have been very good. Come on the main straight, let's hear it for them.
Tell him, mate, the Brook car, that's number 5 he's used tonight. Fifth one.
Look at this field. How could you feel confident coming from position 15?
You wouldn't.
Let alone 18.
Yeah. But long way to go, of course, and hopefully it'll go without incident, but no doubt it'll be one heck of a race. Righto. John Day just pulling away a little bit, telling them to up the pace because they should get a start this time around.
Oh, pace starts to quicken. John Day looks pretty happy. Here we go, Gray gets the best of the start. Green lights are on, we're underway. Have a look at the congestion back in the field as they all head into turn number 1. 18 to the top sedan drivers able to assemble here tonight. Down the back straight, Robbie Gray leads them from Ben Ludlow. Look at Vos Bergen on the inside of Richards. Back to Peter Brook, John Carty, Vos Bergen hiking that wheel again. Logue, Aylen, Vos Bergen, Giancola, Blake, Baker, King, Alfarovich, Rodder, Nylander, Whittington and Newmarch. What a mammoth field as they head down the back straight. 1 down and 29 to go, Chuck. Man and machine pushed to the limit for this one.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the survival of the car out there, I would say, as Peter Richards gets a little bit sideways, stays down to harm's way, gets back onto the raceway once again, but not before Craig Vosbergen slips underneath the manure, just about straightens him up. Peter Brook through into 4th place now, but we've got a heads-up duel happening out there at the moment between the Mika Thara missile, Robbie Gray on the short one. Ben Ludlow back then to Craig Vosbergen, Peter Brook, Carty, then to Richard. Peter Logue, I think that was, sitting in behind them now as we watch them nose to tail right around the Claremont Speedway circuit as one turns it around. Robbie Whittington and a wheel off the Darren Newmart's car as the yellows come on. So 2 wheels in, 2 races. Something amiss there. But Robbie Whittington getting out of harm's way. He went around first, I think. I just saw the end result of that. And I think Newmart's tried to put it around to get out of the way because he was at the tail of the field, and unfortunately he's come off second best with having a wheel part company with the car.
Robbie Gray at car number 24 will initiate the start. He must pass the fence side of the Witch's Hat. Everybody getting on the brakes. Gray's on the gas. Green lights are on. We're underway. 27 to travel in the inaugural Tri-City Sedan Challenge, brought to us tonight by Checkpoint. Gray storms away. Ludlow right behind him, won't let him get too far away if he can avoid it. Vosbergen giving the back of Gabby Marshall's car a hammering. They head down the back straight. Ludlow's content to sit in second for the time being. Back to Vosbergen in third. Peter Brook holding down fourth. John Carty low down on the curve. Up high is Peter Richards. Peter Logue right behind him, and Marshall in there as well. Vosbergen, Giancola and Blake with 25 and a half laps left to go. Fitness is going to be a big part of this too, Chuck.
Got that dead right too, and that's I think the game being played with the front runners at the moment. Now they know they've got to be there at the end, so I would suggest that the short one sitting in there, knowing that he's got a very quick car in front of him in Robbie Gray, as Bert Vosbergen peels one off. In goes John Logue with him. They're off the racetrack and out of harm's way. Looks like the race is going to continue. That's bad luck for John Logue and Bert Vosbergen. Okay, let's get back with Robbie Gray, pulled away by a couple of car lengths further on Ben Ludlow. Back then to Craig Vosbergen over Peter Brook. Some work to do yet, so too John Carty. Peter Richards up there again. And he's sitting currently in, what's that, 6th place. Robbie Gray. Beautiful line too, and have a look at the time, will you? At 18.82. The man is on the pace, and I would suggest all about 5 guys behind him, all on about that pace, because nobody seems to be leaving one or the other. Robbie Gray setting up a commanding lead. Ben Ludlow wouldn't like this scenario. He would like to be right up his tailpipe at the moment in a stronger attacking position. Craig Vosbergen driving very well, as is, of course, Peter Brook. And Craig Vosbergen got a real bad push, and Peter Brook through on the inside, moves into third, and here comes Carty Wade.
Something else we haven't considered here too is going to be tyres, Chuck, over 30 laps. Whoever looks after their tyres in the early going will have the results of the later laps. So Gray at the moment is pulling away from Ludlow. Poor old Bert Vosbergen, you've got to feel sorry for him. Peter Logue straight over to console him. Sorry, mate, I had nowhere to go, he's saying, as Robbie Gray comes off turn number 4. Ludlow content to sit back there in second. So fair distance back to third, where Peter Brook's running. The battle's on between the Commodores of Craig Vosbergen and John Carty. Peter Richards there as well, so too Gabby Marshall and Giancola. Carty buries it now. He would be disgusted with himself, one would assume, as he spins out of contention. Robbie Gray is on cruise mode out there, consistent 19-11. So he's up in the high 18s, below 19 bracket. Good battles going on in between Baker, Rodder, Higgs and Alfarovich as well.
That traffic going to play a part shortly, Wade.
There's a number of different elements in this. There's fitness, there's the ability to keep your race car cool, there's the tyres, and there's lap traffic. Of course, that big long distance of 30 laps really starts to sort them out.
What a performance by Robbie Gray too, being out of the sport so long. It was just about a full season, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That he was out. Come back and virtually on his first night lead this star-studded field in very convincing style. Ben Ludlow certainly has, at this stage, has not got the answer for him. Back there doing it well in third place is Peter Brook, Craig Vosbergen. Been right there, Peter Richards, Tony Beer. We've got big trouble back in the field as Robbie Whittington cops one. And absolutely nowhere to go. Well done, boys. Craig Nylander also involved in that. And I've got to tell you, I think they just did Robbie Gray the greatest favour of all time.
Yes.
He doesn't have to worry about the lap traffic for a while, does he?
It goes either way, I guess. It brings the rest of the field back up behind him. But yeah, it does clear an almighty traffic problem. There's about 7 cars all involved in that little scrap, and it was going to be fairly difficult to get out of the way.
Yep. Yeah, waiting on a start for Rob Whittington.
Have a look how close.
Got the message.
Have a look how close Brookie is up to Ludlow. They just went down the back straight. You think he's going to let him get away far?
I would doubt that.
So would I. Still a classy field out there. Gabby Marshall still faring the best at this stage of the interstate drivers. Rodder back there as well. So Whittington getting pushed into life. Robbie Gray, can he survive this one? He's still got 17 laps to travel. Gives everything a chance to cool down too, including the driver. Gary Hicks was the one who scored the ROP, I would say. Okay, John Day moving off the circuit, which is out in place. Gabby Marshall just realised that we're about to initiate a start here and got on the gas.
Robbie Gray holds him right up till he gets to that witch's hat, and that just slows the speed off because he knows he's got the speed off the line, and he's done it again. Leads Ben Ludlow into turn number 1. Peter Brook a little closer, as is Craig Bosbergen. Back there, Peter Richards, Tony G and Kohler. Then to Gabby Marshall, I think it was, to Des Alfirovich, John Rodder, Craig Nylander and John Carty. Out of turn number 4, number 24 it is.
Geez, Bosbergen's car's a hand. It is a hand.
Big hand. Peter Richards through on the inside of him too. Pete's having a great night tonight. If he does nothing else, he can go home very pleased with himself. Robbie Gray, your race leader now, as they've got a little tick over 15 to go. They're halfway there. Robbie Gray from Ben Ludlow, then to Peter Brook. 1, 2 and 3 in 4th is Peter Richards, Craig Bosbergen, back then to Tony G and Kohler, and then followed through by Gabby Marshall in car number 2, Des Alfirovich, John Rodder, Craig Nylander, then to, who was that, John Carty, would you believe, pulls to the infield, problems with the number 66 Commodore. Well, number 24 goes on his barnstorming way. Robbie Gray been totally dominant in this one, because every time he's pulled away, there's a couple of them getting a little bit close over coming out of turn 2. Get themselves sorted out. Through goes Gray, drops in on 18.8. Oh, he's right on the pace, Robbie Gray. Better than anybody else. Ben Ludlow in 2nd, in 3rd, Peter Brook in 4th. Great driving once again from the unknown hero. Number 71, Peter Richards, as Gray a little bit of smoke coming off the right rear as he come out of turn number 4, and I would suggest it was just tyre smoke. I certainly hope for Robbie's sake that's all it was. Craig Bosbergen has got his hands absolutely full with the number 8 Pilgrim Glass Commodores, and the big fella doing a pretty good job to keep it on track, but it looks like a real handful. On the other hand, Robbie Gray looks as though he's going for a Sunday drive. And what they work
line, mate, with tight race cars, it's either very fast or it's very much a handful, and that's what Craig's got. It's quick going into the turns, but doesn't like coming off them.
No, that's true too. Here he comes once again, Robbie Gray, with just 10 to go. 2/3 race distance, there's 10 to go for Robbie Gray, so let's hope that luck stays with him. Now again, starting to loom could be the traffic problem for Robbie Gray. He would want to, if he could put a car or two-way between himself and Ben Ludlow, he's home and home.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the problem. He's going to have to make quick work of whoever it is. But there's a bit of a traffic jam forming up behind Craig Bosbergen here. The reason why we're talking about Bosbergen's car being tight, he goes down the straights and gets right on the brakes going into turn, because he wants to keep it low when he comes off the turn. Of course, everybody's still hammering in with their race cars, handling a little better perhaps. Not so much of a handful. They gain a lot of ground going into the turn. They'll have to get on the brakes to compensate for Bosbergen slowing up, and that's what's causing that big traffic jam. Gary the Dustman Higgs will be the first one underneath the grey hammer as they come out of turn number 4. Ludlow really, I think, is too far back. Gray's really going to have to be monstered by Hicks and really thwarted. Brooks been a consistent drive for 3rd at this stage, but Richards, as you said, your heart goes out to him. What a drive it's been so far. Good scraps between Gabby Marshall and Tony Giancola have been a highlight of this one. But Craig Bosbergen will know about it when he gets out of this. His arm will fall off.
Okay, here comes Robbie Gray now, looking to put a lap on the Dustman Higgs. Let's hope he gets the message. Does the right thing, Higgs, too, and let's Robbie Gray through as clean as a whistle. Oh, Craig Bosbergen again in the handling walls. Giancola through, as was Gabby Marshall. And luck for Craig, he's been driving pretty well tonight. But that car is an absolute monster, I would say, to point out there. Now, Robbie Gray has gone further away, I would say, from Ben Ludlow. Back then to Peter Brook in 3rd, Peter Richards covering himself in glory in 4th. Over Tony G, Gabby Marshall, Craig Bosbergen and number 20. Rob Whittington parked it right in the middle.
How close was Robbie Gray there to taking out Robbie Whittington?
Now, what happened? Your heart has to go out to Robbie Gray now, because that's going to unlap.
not going to tell me he's happy about this again, are you?
No, he couldn't possibly happy about it now because the only bloke ecstatically happy about this right now is the short one.
Yeah. And Peter Brook, I'd say, be fairly keen to.
Oh, yeah.
The jobs.
He's right in it. Peter Richards, but of course, times I think you think where they leave the lap car in the middle. Of course they don't because he's not on the same lap as his guys. But righto.
5-lap dash for the Checkpoint Tri-City Sedan Challenge. Once again, Gray gets on the anchors.
He's out of there.
Oh yeah, out of there in a big hurry. Now Ludlow realises laps are fairly precious from this point on, but once again, Gray just wheels that 24 car away, like riding around his lounge chair out there at the moment. It all seems pretty easy for him. Down the back straight, Ludlow back to second. There's a good scrap on for fourth at this stage as Brook pulls fairly well clear of Peter Richards. What a drive it's been from him. Jan Kohler's in there. Gabby Marshall still looming as a chance for the minors. 4 laps left to travel, a 19.20, so Robbie's obviously slowing down for this, get it? Doing a brilliant job of it too. He's on cruise mode. Like you said, Chuck, he came back from a go-kart accident, had almost a season off, and he's come back in the best possible way. He is a good driver over distances, conserving his tyres too. He's staying very straight through the corners. Back on the gas, they won't touch him in a straight line.
No, Tony Jan Kohler making life hard for Peter Richards. Also, Gabby Marshall up there on the pace, but none better than your race leader, of course, and that is Robbie Gray. See how much earlier he's lifting the foot off. He knows he's got the situation covered now. 2 laps to go for the Checkpoint Tri-City Challenge. Night number 1. Jan Kohler has a look through on the inside of Peter Richards. Finds the hole as Richards cost himself the spot, went out very wide. Gets a bit of a love tap up the rear end from Gabby Marshall. Robbie Gray about to greet the white flag. Ben Ludlow in second, but what a drive this has been from Robbie Gray, car number 24.
This is always the longest lap, Chuck.
Oh, you got it.
Seems like it's at least 8 laps long.
Yep, can I make it another 270 odd metres into, oh, look at him backing off halfway down the back straight now. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Night number 1 goes well and truly to Robbie Gray. Takes the win. Ben Ludlow for second, third Peter Brook, fourth Jan Kohler, fifth Richards, sixth Gabby Marshall. Back then to Vosberg and Ryder Alfirovich, Nylander. Then to Higgs, followed through by Robbie Whittington, 136.23 for the last 5. But let's hear it once again for the Mega Thorough Missile, ladies and gentlemen. What a drive it was from Robbie Gray to take the win. Night number 1 of the Checkpoint Tri-City Super Sedan Challenge. Absolutely brilliant. Very shortly we'll cross trackside to Conmigro and the Checkpoint people down there, of course, for the presentations.
Peter, congratulations for a very fine drive there, and I'm sure that you're going, and hopefully you might do a little bit better over the next 2 days. Congratulations.
First of all, I'd like to thank Claremont Speedway and all the organisers for getting these Eastern States over. Soon got us to get our A and a G. I don't know whether I'm classing myself as a Victorian. I might have to get up there with the rest of you. I'd like to thank Checkpoint very much for supporting the event. All my family, thanks very much. You put up with a pretty hard winter. I think I like the IROC a little bit better, but we'll get the hang of this one soon. Thank you very much.
Good on you, Peter. And ladies and gentlemen, in second place is a man who's done a huge amount of work behind the scenes in getting this particular series together. Would you please put your hands together for Shorty Ben Ludlow?
Congratulations, Ben. What an excellent drive there. You were just a little bit off the pace, but I'm sure that tomorrow night and perhaps on Sunday night you just might knock that lead guy off. Congratulations. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks to people that come rough the weather town here tonight. It's real good to see those people who did come here to see some bloody good racing. You just couldn't look away from it, really, could you? I'd like to thank a few of the people who've been behind me. Deacon Dello Steel Supplies, always there. Jenkins Springs, AmCap BBK, Castrol, Stewart's Automotives, and Ryco Hose Fitters. All terrific people right behind us. As Checkpoint here tonight, the support of Speedway is absolutely brilliant. And I have to thank an opposition company to us at Westfield supplied the fuel tonight for our 2 cars, and thanks for that. Thank you. Oh, Bunbury's on tomorrow night. Make the trip.
Good on you, Shorty Ben. And ladies and gentlemen, the man who is a very, very happy chappie, there's no doubt about it, And by gee, he's very brightly decked out tonight in his clothes. Doesn't only look good, but he goes good. Would you put your hands together for Mika Sparrow, Missile, the winner of tonight's big Tri-City Heat #1. Would you put your hands together for Robert Gray?
Congratulations, Robert. What an excellent drive. I don't think that any of them there were going to catch it at one stage, but you got it in front. You kept going, and congratulations. What an excellent drive. Hope you keep up tomorrow night and Sunday night.
I'd like to thank Claremont Speedway. The track was like just the best. I'd like to thank Checkpoint for putting the night on, and I'd like to thank the crew and Mum and Dad and everyone else for making the car just right. Thank you.
In night #1. Tony, how'd you feel at the end of that feature race? 30 laps is a long way around.
Mate, I felt older than I am. No, we had a bad run in the first heat, Wade. We had no brakes at all, so we just managed to finish the heat. We didn't gain any placings. Second heat, obviously, we won, but that put us in the 11th spot. We didn't go in the time trials, and if we would have gone in the time trials, I believe I would have qualified in the first couple of rows. But that's racing, mate. I was reasonably happy.
A West Aussie blitz last night, really. The East Coast guys, I think, maybe a little bit more at home here at Bunbury on the clay.
Yes, there will be, because they're used to this sort of tracks, and I believe that they'll be very, very hard to beat tonight.
All the best tonight, Tony. You're sitting pretty strong in the standings. There's 2 nights still to go, so consistency is what you're all about, and that's what'll win this series.
Well, I hope you're right, Wade. Thanks a lot.
Oh, get out of it, Steve.
Well, Leonora Goldmine and Chad Johnson. Chad, last night you really let the IROC out of the bag, mate. A win in the B main. It's the quickest I've seen the car go at Claremont in some time.
Yeah, we've been having quite a bit of bad luck with the motor and Maggie and that, but it looks like we've got the monkey off the back anyhow. We went up to Cullen, had a few wins, and we had that win last night, so I think we'll be right tonight.
Confidence is a big thing in winning in Speedway, and you can tell that when the car's not quite working right, it must be difficult to keep your head straight. When the car is working, you seem more relaxed.
Oh, that's, yeah, without a question. Yeah, definitely right. It's all in the setup, tyre choosing, as you realise. But luck's got to be on your side at the same time, you know. So.
The East Coast guys got blitzed last night at Claremont, but clay suits them a little better because they're more used to that surface. I think we'll see them a bit stronger tonight. What about you?
Oh, definitely they will be. I remember when I ran in Adelaide, it was very clay and they're very strong. But we love the clay too, so we should have a good time.
Yeah. Well, Peter Drew from South Australia, things didn't quite go to plan last night at Claremont. What seemed to be the problem?
I think the track threw me a couple of times. I don't know, I just can't put it together. We mostly race on clay. So with a bit of luck tonight, this stuff out here is what I want.
I was going to say that to you. The East Coast guys looked a little bit, not off the pace, but they certainly had their hands full with the West Coast guys who are used to running at Claremont, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Bunbury, they're not so used to running on. They don't run around here as much, but it is clay. It is a surface that you'll be fond of, so this will be probably the closest you'll get to Speedway Park.
Yeah, it's going to be close to the Speedway Park, what we've got here now. But also, there's nothing involved with Claremont as corner radius, and that kind of was tricking me a little bit too.
It's a fairly long way around our corners there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got a few sponsors you'd like to thank, because it's a long way to come, isn't it? Without them, obviously, you couldn't be here.
Yeah, got to thank Norwich, Hancock and Just Wheel Liners. It's kind of hard to throw together without standing really looking at the car.
So you had a few dramas last night. The car was going pretty good before that, though. I think a lot of people were impressed that you made the A main. You must have been pleased in a classy field.
Yeah, actually we were very surprised. We went out there just purely to run and stay alive, which unfortunately didn't get us that far, but we were pleased to make the A-main even though we started off the back. The car felt really good for the final.
And it looks good too, Darren. I must say to you that the car looks fantastic. Southland Shopping Centre, how did that one come about?
Well, one of our sponsors, Pizza Fury Meats, is actually in there, and I had a discussion with him one night, and we said, well, we want a fair bit of money, but a lot of people today don't have a lot of money, so we'll get a lot of little sponsors under the one roof. And we approached Southland Sponsorship, and they were very pleased. You know, they most happy to go towards it, and we're going to back them as hard as we can all the way. So,
Craig, you said to me last night, just before the Claremont rounds, you'd be happy to finish in the top 10. You only just managed that last night. Things didn't quite go to plan.
No, that's for sure. I sort of, top 10 was like maybe 6 or 7, I think, but we just scraped in. We just didn't have a good run. The motor went off in the first heat, and we fixed that with broken rocker stud. And then come feature race, the same problem again. So we worked all morning to fix that today, and hopefully she'll be spot on for tonight.
The West Aussies gave the East Coast a bit of a hiding last night at Claremont, but to be fair to them, that's not really a surface that they're very familiar with. Tonight on the clay, I think maybe a different story.
That's for sure. I mean, these guys are more used to running a track like this, and I think everyone sort of deserves a real pat on the back for the job they did last night. It was just probably the best sedan racing I've seen for a long, long time. Really great stuff.
Good fun to be out there?
Oh, it was. I mean, in the end, we were very lucky probably to qualify at all, considering we sort of got a 6 in the first heat. But no, it was a real honour to be out there, and I was kind of hoping for a few more cars to drop out, but it didn't happen that way. The guys did a good job.
All the best tonight, and tomorrow night we'll catch you down at Collie as well. So consistency is the big thing here, remember?
Well, that's what we're hoping for. We've got our bad one out the way now, so we'll be up a bit further.
Well, if there are any doubts about Robbie Gray's fitness last night before Claremont's meeting, I think they've well and truly gone out the window. Mate, you look great in the feature.
Mate, I felt great. It was like, I couldn't believe it. Just like it was on rails. It was just driving around. I didn't have to do a thing.
A lot of people were a bit worried about the 30-lap distance around Claremont, but I think a few of them forgot that the place is a bit shorter now.
Oh, yeah, and plus, mate, 30, 40, I love, the longer the races go, the better it's been. It's always, every time we've raced, the longer the laps, the better I go.
You must be relishing the chance to compete against some of the country's best drivers here.
Oh, without a doubt, you know, especially after the year or so off as well, and just no race at all, come back and go really good, it was good.
The other thing too, Rob, is that you go particularly well down here because, as everybody knows, you've got quite an awesome engine underneath the bonnet, and wheel spin can often be a problem on a more loose surface, but down here on the clay, this thing just gets down in boogies.
Well, we're hoping it will, mate. We're hoping it will.
The East Coast guys are going to be a lot stronger tonight, though, Rob. You know that, don't you?
Without a doubt. No, they'll definitely be the people to beat, for sure. It's just, they'll be a different class here.
Any particular game plan for tonight?
Just go out and go hard.
Well, up until last night's meeting, Western Australians didn't know much about you, John Rodder, but tonight they do. You did pretty well last night. Are you pleased with your performance?
I think I had a pretty steady performance last night. It wasn't as good as I hoped, but I never disgraced myself either. So all in all, I'm reasonably happy.
What did you think of the local stars last night?
At Claremont, they cleaned up. I think the first interstate car was 6th.
Something like that, yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be the second interstate car, but hopefully we'll put on a better show tonight.
I think you will, because, and the reason I do is because I think this surface is a little bit more familiar to what you race on over east. This clay surface will suit the East Coast guys a lot better, I think.
I think so. I know it will suit me because this is a clay track car. We perform best on clay, and I'm looking for results tonight.
Have you enjoyed this West Australian League so far? I mean, is this a thing you'd like to be involved with in the future again?
Oh, definitely. Yes, I've been really thrilled. It's been a really good holiday. I've never been over to West Australia before. The people are treating me fantastic. Our hosts are more than generous.
We'll see how generous they are if you clean up in the feature race tonight, John.
Yeah.
All the best for tonight anyway, mate. Of course, Collie tomorrow night. A smaller track than this and a different surface yet again, so at least you're getting a bit of versatility in this West Australian tour.
That's right. And in Victoria, we have a lot of club tracks, and we move around a lot, and coming to different tracks is something that we're used to. We can usually look at a track and do what we think the car needs and get on the pace pretty quick.
I like this, but you're looking into the sun and not at me.
Ben, I think for the first night of the series, we saw an outstanding night's racing last night at Claremont.
Actually, it was quite incredible. The Eastern States guys performed well, but they found they're going real tough against the locals. It was quite amazing.
I don't think that'll happen again tonight. I think this surface will suit them a little bit more than last night.
It probably will. The track got a bit slidey last night. They're used to the more gumbo type clay over the eastern states. That's what they all say. I've been there and actually beaten them on their own tracks, but they haven't actually beaten them in the feature races. But in their heat races stuff, we've gone real well. So a lot of West Australians. So we're looking forward to tonight.
Encouraging signs, Ben. We've had a lot of bouquets from the East Coast drivers about the way this series has been conducted so far. It looks good for the future.
Very, very good. We've really got to dig up a major sponsor for next year to sort out the loose ends, you might say, to make sure we get over a bigger group of drivers. This year has been real tough on the promoters and the people organising it to get them over here, but the quality of the cars is second to none. We've picked the best of the East to come over here, but we probably just need a few more cars to make the thing real bona fide 100% Australasian.
Personally, Ben, how are you going to go tonight?
I think we're going to go pretty good, actually. I got down here and found out I haven't quite got the right gear sets, but and I don't think anyone will have a set to suit me because...
Or want to lend you one.
Oh, probably, because we use a sprint car 411 diff ratio. Everyone runs 486s, so it's going to be hard to find a set of gears down here.
Yeah, good point. Well, there's a couple of sprint cars here tonight. Perhaps you can beg, borrow, or steal.
Yeah, I think they're limited, though.
Shane Murphy and Shane Crick are out there.
Well,
so.
I might die. I know Shane real well, so I might
Shane
drive
Murphy's
over there.
bargain basement diff ratios. Mate, all the best for tonight and tomorrow night at Collie. It's been a great series so far, and I'm sure it's going to get even better.
Oh, I'm dead sure it will.
Colin, I think the first night of the series, which was relatively untried, was a tremendous success in terms of standard of racing.
It certainly was, Wade. A huge crowd was on hand and the racing was brilliant. I think we had 33 cars that faced the starter, and without doubt we saw some of the finest sedan racing ever witnessed at Claremont, and I'm looking forward to tonight's Bunbury City Speedway meeting. I'm sure that's going to be big, and of course Sunday night's Collie Speedway, which is the Griffin coal mining event. I'm sure that's going to be great as well.
Would it be unfair to say that the East Coast guys will be a little bit more at home on the clay here at Bunbury?
Well, this track's bigger than Claremont by about 30 or 40 metres, and it's more gumbo clay, so I think that the Eastern States drivers will be probably a little at an advantage. But the West Australian drivers proved last night that they have the equipment, and I'm sure that with that sort of equipment and they've got like a fire in their belly at the moment, they really want to perform. The Eastern States won't have it all their own way.
The depth of talent increased a bit last night. We seemed to share it around a bit. In particular, Peter Richards, I thought was brilliant.
Outstanding. And, you know, that's the thing that I was just saying a while ago. With a class field of competitors, you'll see even the lesser-known name drivers come and become even better. And I think that's lift up a notch. Yeah. And we see that in sprint cars, we see that in speed cars, and the sedans are no exception. And I believe that the sedans have really turned the corner. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this weekend, and of course in the seasons to come. The sedans are really going to become one of the top divisions in Australian Speedway.
Ian Marshall from Queensland, happy with the performance last night?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with last night. Track's pretty slick, and that takes a bit of getting hold of. The wings don't help when we haven't got them, but that's the way it is, so no problem.
West Coast guys pretty good though, in your opinion?
Oh, they're always good. You know, you never discount any of these guys. Any of the top running super sedans all over the country, they all run hard, they all run about the same. And put them on the same track, and guys that have been around the area the most probably run the best.
The guys don't know this track but as well as perhaps they know Claremont. This surface I think will suit you better, Gabby.
Well, this is a lot more like our normal track, although it's still fairly sandy actually. They're probably sticky compared to Claremont because that's, I think there's more traction on the beach actually, it's softer.
Gabby, who are you looking out for tonight? East Coast guys perhaps? So Neil really didn't have a good night, did he?
No, Paul will probably run pretty hard tonight. This is...
As you were saying?
Paul will run pretty hard tonight. This is right up his street here, I think. Bigger, rounder sort of track too, a lot like home for him, and stickier surface. Although Paul runs good on anything, but the sticky stuff will suit him fine.
The racing last night was outstanding, I thought, Gabby.
I thought the racing was excellent. Having seen a bit over here before, I thought everybody behaved themselves very well, and everybody realised there's 3 nights of racing, and we've all turned up here tonight for the second round. So
the future looks good for the series, I think. Are you interested in coming back?
Yeah, it's a long way, but you know, if we can manage it, yes. Especially when I think the key to the series is to put it on 3 consecutive nights. That makes it viable for us guys to come over. If we've got to be away longer than that, it's very difficult. But that sort of time span, yes.
All the best
problem.
tonight, Gav.
Thanks very much.
Wayne Hine starting alongside him, Drifter, the state champ. Right in behind him, Ian Gabby Marshall, Ivor Ladwig. Looks like Bruce Tremonton out there as well, and small Paul and Lacey. So underway, Wayne Hine leads them into turn number 1. Blake drops down low, watch out for Marshall, he's a play track specialist. Ladwig drops into 4th. We go back to Trevor Pascoe it is, and Paul DeLacy. They head down the back straight into turn number 3, and have a look at Brad Blake work the inside. Wayne Hine's going to be kept very honest through this one, Drifter, as they work their way into turn number 1. Gabby Marshall in trouble. Oh, he had a big moment there, and Paul DeLacy nearly brought him undone. 19.91, and Hine continuing to lead. Well, they go into turn number 3. Brad Blake sets it up for a run on the inside once more. Wayne Hine up about a half-track run. Bradley Blake sitting up there in 2nd place at this stage. Ivor the Survivor, Ivor Ladwig into 3rd. Trevor Pascoe for 4th. Ian Gabby Marshall up to 5th place. And small Paul DeLacy rounding out the 6th. Once more into turn number 3. Wayne Hine running a good, consistent half-track run. On the main straight, the Hindco Falcon really motivating out in front now from the Bunbury Nissan. 0 Pontiac of Brad Blake back in 3rd. Ivor Ladwig doing well. Here comes Marshall now. Trying to mount an assault here, but tell you what, it's going to be difficult. Going into turn number 3, Wayne Hine, a clear leader, Phil.
There's no doubt about that, Wade, as they move out of turn number 4 now. Underneath the challenge paint sign, Wayne Hine, the race leader. Up there in 2nd place is the Bunbury's favourite son. That young Bradley Blake, as a bit of smoke starts to bellow from the Pontiac as they make their way down the back straight. Underneath the Marlow side now, as he puts the car sideways out of at the halfway mark out of turn number 4, and comes in with a time of 19.70, second lap that time around for Wayne Hine. The current WA champion looking very nice and tidy indeed as he makes his way down the back straight, and it's still young Bradley Blake up there in 2nd place. Then we go back to Ivor Ladwig in car number 12, and we got Peter, that young Pascoe, up there in 4th place from here. So that's the way they're sorting themselves out now. This is event number 1 here for night number 2 of the Tri-City Sedan Challenge, brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Well, I tell you what, Wayne Hine having the wood on Brad Blake at the moment. They said during hot laps, you heard Brad say himself, they've got a problem with their car pushing. And what we mean by pushing is the way their car does not want to turn left at the end of the straights. You'll see it won't slide sideways as such. The wheels will be turning left, but the car will continue on its normal path. Heading down the back straight, Wayne Hine with 2 laps left to travel, got this one in his keeping. Blake dropping back a little. Bit of smoke starting to appear from the tail of the Bunbury Nissan Pontiac. Ivor Ladwig hanging on to 3rd. I'm a little bit surprised to see Ian Gabby Marshall so far back in the field. I thought that Marshall would have adapted pretty quickly to this clay surface, but appears to be having a lot of trouble with the number 2 car. Must have missed the setup on that or something, but at the moment he is having diabolical problems. 1 lap left to travel for our race leader, Wayne Hine. Brad Blake a gallant 2nd. Ladwig still consistent run for 3rd. They're all up about half track using the cushion. You'll see that get up higher through the track throughout the night. Trevor Pascoe, half a lap down. Here comes our race leader. Ladies and gentlemen, heat number 1 of the Tri-City Sedan Challenge goes to Wayne Hine. Brad Blake, a good drive for 2nd. 3rd will go to Ivor Ladwig. Strong drive from him. Paul Stubber looks like he retired before the event had started. What a shame. Back to Trevor Pascoe, who'll get 4th overall. 5th will go to Ian Marshall. 6th to Paul DeLacy, but Ian Marshall would not be happy. Not sure what the problem is, but it's certainly not a true indication of the ability of Ian Gabby Marshall from Queensland.
Okay, let's see what happens this time around now as the yellow light's gone. The green light's on away in racing now. Alan Baker leads them away from car number 10 up there in 2nd place. Jamie Moonis. Jamie Moon throws the car sideways. Des Alfarovic makes amends of that. Around the outside, grabs 2nd place. underneath the Marlow side, and here comes the charge from Shorty Ben Ludlow. Around the outside now, up the Angel's feet and tread, grabs the pedal to the middle, and underneath the challenge paint side. Ben Ludlow in third place. He moves underneath Des Alvarovich, washes out that time as they make their way underneath out of turn number 2, down the back straight now. But the race leader, and doing a very mighty fine job indeed, as he makes his way. It's Alan Baker in car number 3. Ludlow grabs second place underneath Alvarovich, and here comes Paul O'Neill, Wade.
Yeah, just looking at the lap times, Drifter, Alan Baker not hanging around either, 20.37. That's right in the ballpark of our last effort from Wayne Hine. Listen to this car working its way through the turn. Shorty Ben making quick work of Alvarovich. Now we'll see just what will happen here. We've got the 2 Falcons out in front from the Commodore of Des Alvarovich, but O'Neill, as you were saying, having a few dramas getting past Jamie Moon. Full credit to Moon for doing it, but that thing looks very quick of O'Neill's if he can get it out and open up some space. But have a look at the short one. Shorty Ben Ludlow, multi-state title holder, and we've got a bit of a traffic jam back here in the field. I thought there might have been a caution on for a second. O'Neill still trying to slip through. Have a look at Ludlow, working the inside of Baker. It's the East Coast staff invading the West Aussie turf, and Ben Ludlow knows it. Trying to salvage some local pride here, Drifter, and this could be on for young and old at half-race distance.
Thanks very much, mate, at the halfway mark now, and this is an absolute lung buster for heat number 2. Shorty Ben Ludlow puts the nose where it's not required. Paul O'Neill now makes his way in the 4th place, and Jamie Moon fights back. We've got an absolute monumental. Here comes Shorty Ben Ludlow. Oh, puts it in. Get out of my way, East Hurst in Western Australia. Grabs the lead from Alan Baker in 2nd place. And here comes Paul O'Neill. We've got a ripper on the raceway now for Coca-Cola into turns number 2 and down the back straight now for the race leader. Shorty Ben Ludlow back to Alan Baker, and Paul O'Neill has come from the heavens. Then we go back to Des Alvarovich, and that be with a brilliant time of 1982, second time for Shorty Ben Ludlow, so he's absolutely burning up the Bunbury Clayway.
Yeah, but let's have a look at Paul O'Neill, mate. Have a look at the ground he's just pulled on Alvarovich in about 3 laps. 4 laps left, 2 laps left to travel. I got about 4 different hand signals then. 1980 the time, 1980, but O'Neill has just scorched up behind Baker. Really opened this one up for 4th. Alvarovich in there as well, so too Vosbergen. Back to a battle between Higgs and Moon, but Ludlow tearing up the Bunbury Clayway now as he works his way onto the main straight once more. 1 lap left to travel. How's that for consistency? A 1980 and a 1981, and Ludlow romping back into the winner's circle, and this will make the West Aussie fans very pleased indeed. He's come from the back. He's done it the hard way. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put your hands together for Shorty Ben Ludlow. Great wind. Very strong drive from the short one. And look at O'Neill, Drifter.
Yeah, great
he
drive.
Finished right on the tail of Alan Baker. O'Neill is definitely the dark horse for this one. 4th will go to Alvarovich, only just from a hard-charging Craig Vosbergen. Back to Gary Higgs and Jamie Moon with a bit of a problem in the number 10 car. What a classy field we've got tonight. No doubt about that. Chad Johnson alongside him. Back to Peter Aylett. Oh, have a look. They're mixing it up on the start. Away we go. It's a drag race. Peter Brook leads him going into turn number 1. Johnson hangs it up. Oh, Aylett gets him where he wasn't supposed to be in Chad Johnson's opinion. And Peter Logue hoses him on the outside. Now, Logue was very impressive at Claremont as Vosbergen stalls the Pantera. Yellow lights on. Waiting on a start now. Look at this. Brook and Johnson drag race into turn number 1. Johnson going with him. Vosbergen around the outside. Have a look at Chad Johnson. Oh, yes, around the outside, he says. Brook says, no, you don't. World-class super sedan racing in night number 2 of the Tri-City Sedan Challenge. Oh, Johnson faked Brook beautifully. Brook won't fall for the 3-card trick, but Johnson is through. Darren Newmarch up to 3rd. Vosbergen pushing for a strong run from 4th. Back to Peter Aylett and Peter Logue. But Drifter, what a drive in the early going from Johnson, and look at the lap time already, 20.92.
Yeah, he'll be happy about that one there, and a very quick time indeed too, Wade, as you mentioned that time around. Peter Brooks still up there in 2nd place. We'll go through the field now. We've got Newmarch up there in 31, back to Big Bad Bird Bosberg, and then we go back to the Tasmanian driver of Peter Aylett, and at the rear of the field, and I know he wouldn't like to be there too much, Peter Logue down the back straight now one more time as they make their way underneath the Coca-Cola side, and out of turn number 4. A bit of smoke now, Wade, starting to bellow from car number 85, which is the car being driven tonight by Chad Johnson. Then we got Peter Brook. There's Logue underneath Aylett that time around, makes up another place. Very important too, because it all goes towards point scores to start for all the important feature race coming up later on in the program tonight, and it should be an absolute ripper. But so make their way underneath with a 20:52 second lap. Bosbergen's in trouble. More problems are going with the wind now as he makes his way under the main straight. Bosbergen is out, and we've got still the race leader of Chad Johnson in car number 85 at the halfway mark.
Yep, half race distance, and Johnson got it all, and he's keeping it at the moment. Peter Brook back there for second. What a great battle it was there. Darren Newmarch back to Peter Logue and Peter Aylett. Oh, Johnson's got a problem. The car flamed up. He got a big push coming through the turn. Johnson's car is actually prepared for racing by speed car driver Keith Giles. So it was a good speedway connection in that particular team. And Johnson, who has been known to throw $1 or $2 at this race car, it's rumoured to be worth in excess of 50 grand, as reaping the rewards of the Danny Smith-built IROC Camaro. They head down the back straight, and Johnson has got a killer engine underneath the bonnet. This thing is pulling some revs, leaving Peter Brook behind at this stage. Last night, I personally thought that Robbie Gray's car and Chad Johnson's were two of the fastest cars there last night, Drifter.
Yeah, certainly were, Wade. There was no doubt about that. But as we mentioned a few times tonight, we've got a different racetrack now, and this particular type of car, which you mentioned, is an IROC Camaro from the United States, and they're very, very hooked up on the clay surface, with 2 laps remaining now for the race leader Chad Johnson, car number 85 for Freeway Auto Services. Then we got the Burnett Transport car, which is Peter Logue. He just absolutely threw the car. Hell Nelson burnt into turn number 1 down the back straight now. I'll tell you what, he should be on rails, this man, as they come up now with one more lap remaining now. Right. Oh, Peter Brook. He will absolutely have nothing to do with that as they make their way for the final time down the back straight here at Bunbury Speedway. This is event number 3 of the Tri-City Super Sedan Challenge. Come on, Bunbury fans. Where are you? West Australia fans, put your hands together. A good drive by car 85, Chad Johnson. Then we go back to number 15, Peter Brook.
Front row, Robbie Gray is going to be quick as well. Here we go, looking for a start. Oh, Giancola. He did that very well. But he's gone very high on the track, but he's chasing that rail of dirt. He went straight out, found the cushion and said, we're going to sit here for a little while and have a look at the Coatsar Commodore. Pull out, going into turn number 3. He's just opened up some real estate between himself and second place Nylander. Robbie Gray sitting right in there for 3rd place. John Rodder up to 4th. Peter Richards for 5th. John Carney and Bruce Treneman. Have a look at the opener. 20.41 on the City and Regional Fuels time clock. Down the back straight, and Tony Giancola at his brilliant best. I tell you what, on his night, Phil, you'll go well to find a driver that can match Tony Giancola.
There's no doubt about that. As you mentioned, he's a former Australian champion, Tony Giancola. We've got young Craig Nylander up there in 2nd place, making a return to sedan car, competitive sedan car racing this season. Then we go back to night number 1 winner, which is Robbie Gray up there in 3rd place. So 3 West Aussies out in front and doing it all so nicely. It's the Bunbury Clay now starting to take shape. And so is Tony Giancola in 1:43, which is the Coates High Commodore. Then we go back to the Pontiac of car number 54, young Craig Nylander, down the back straight. Then we've got another one, which is car number 24, Robbie Gray. And then we've got John Rodder up there, up in 4th place from here. We'll go still through the field from car number 71, Peter Richards, 1 car in trouble. That's John Carney in car number 60. And at the rear, at the halfway mark, driving car number 25. In your program tonight, Bruce Treneman.
Mate, Craig Nylander's car starting to make a bit of smoke, pouring out of the tail of the 54 car. Let's hope it's nothing terminal. They worked very hard on Paul Stubber's car, which was fairly badly damaged. And I saw with horror the car pulling up on the infield before he even got a chance to run his heat. Might be from the dip, that smoke, as we see Peter Richards in trouble as well. Oh, he's waiting for a chance to come down through the traffic.
Well, something I noticed him as he came past there, Wade, is something has definitely broken on the front end there of Peter Richards' car.
Yeah, Yeah, what a shame. 20.19 the time now for our race leader, Giancola, and if anything, Nylander is starting to chew down that real estate between himself and our race leader, Tony Giancola. Problem is with Tony Giancola, though, Phil, when you catch him, what are you going to do with him? He stretched that Commodore from the curb to the fence, and you won't find a way through.
Exactly right.
2 laps left to travel, and he's got this one in his keeping, but Nylander, apart from a big push there, really starting to close up. Lost a lot of ground there, 20.48, 1.25 to travel, and Tony Giancola will have to hit a king-size rut to get out of shape and drop this one off. He loves these flag-to-flag victories. Nylander closing on him, but Robert Gray's been quietly subdued. I expected him to make a big charge. Rotto's up to 4th, back to 5th as Trenerman, back to Carty, just circulating for points. But it's been a good drive for the driver of the 143 Coatsire Commodore. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Tony Giancola. That is a big problem. You just see he has done something fairly large to the car. You can see it just spat metal all over the track then.
Bits and pieces all over the start-finish line.
Waiting for a start now. Here we go. DeLacy on the inside. Gary Higgs on the outside. Ben Ludlow in car number 9 slots up into 3rd. John Carty for 4th. Brad Blake for 5th. At the rear, it's Darren Newmarch. Down the back straight, it's small Paul DeLacy. Man who's driven a number of racing divisions, including sprint cars, but moved back into super sedans. Ludlow propped and got underneath Gary Higgs as they go into turn number 1. Ludlow puts the Falcon up into 2nd place. Higgs not content with that, tries to come back at him as they head down the back straight. Can't quite do so. Carty up to 4th now. Blake still just sitting back there in 5th. He needs a stronger showing. This is his last heat race appearance. DeLacy, meanwhile, with a 19.69, thank you very much. Starting to get the lead out now. Ludlow unable to close him down. Blake, however, starting to make progress on John Carty as they head down the back straight. Darren Newmarch having more than his fair share of dramas. But on the main straight once more, it's small Paul DeLacy. Good lap times too, 19.62 that time around. Back to Ludlow in 2nd and Higgs for 3rd. But DeLacy's going to be a tough man to throw from here, Phil.
He certainly is, there's no doubt about that, Wade. As I know a big smile came up in your face when you said that Falcon up in the 2nd place, but he's a bit of a Ford man, the old Wade Ornger here. But it's Paul DeLacy out in front now for Airtech. Then we go back to one of the most winningest driver ever in super sedans down the back straight. And Ben Shorty Ludlow puts the notes where it's not required as far as Paul DeLacy is concerned, up there in 3rd place. And doing it at the halfway mark, thanks Kim Barnett. It's a Dustman. Car number 81 up there in 3rd place, and he's having a great series, Gary Higgs. Then we go back to John Spinner Carty, car number 60. And we've got the son of a gun, young Bradley Blake, back there in 5th place from here. Darren Newmarch in 31 at the tail of the field, underneath the Sydney Regional Fuels Time Club. A 20.32 that time around for Paul DeLacy.
Yeah, well, what chance? Ludlow, here we go. Lines up the inside run. We head down the back straight at Mark 3 with his hair on fire. It's Ben Ludlow looking at the inside run. Just neatly carts DeLacy up a little bit higher. And the short one. This will be 2 heat wins from 2 starts if he can hold on to this one. 20.16. I think we'll see the lap times come down to the low 19s now as Ludlow starts to open up. The number 9 Falcon. Have a look at John Carty taking on Gary Higgs on the infield. They head through turn number 3 and 4. Still leading this one. Shorty Ben Ludlow. DeLacy up to 2nd. 2 laps left to travel. As they go into turn number 1 and 2. Ludlow continuing to lead. DeLacy holding on to 2nd. Gary Higgs. What a drive it's been from him so far. Back there in 4th is John Carty and Bradley Blake. Darren Newmarch at the rear, but Ludlow, 1 lap left to travel, and the Ford fans starting to rejoice. He has done this well. Up on about a 3/4 track run, going into the turn, gets a beautiful apex off the corner, and the winningest super sedan driver in WA history is blitzing this field into turn number 3. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. He's done it again. 2 wins from 2 starts, and you don't get any better than that. The short one, Ben Ludlow. 2nd, good strong drive to Paul DeLacy. 3rd to Gary Higgs. Back to Brad Blake in car number 0.
10 laps of super sedans for Coca-Cola, and Craig Bosbergen leads them away now into turn number 1. Bruce Trenerman up there around the outside, grabbing a fistful that time and causing a bit of trouble, Ian Marshall, but doing it very nicely. And the man that time, Bruce Trenerman, in a heap of trouble Out of turn 4, down the main straight, we've got Bosbergen. Then we've got Gabby Marshall up there in second place. Now, I believe that, as you mentioned before, Wade, that Ian Marshall had a few problems there with the...
Yeah, power steering belt came off, made it very difficult
That's right,
to drive,
yep.
but have a look at the form of the guy now. He is all over the tail of Craig Bosbergen, and look at the lap times they're starting to put in, 19.57. We saw the quickest from Ludlow at 19.36 just gone, but look at Gabby Marshall. They call him Gabby because he loves to talk. Usually rubbish, but it's all in the best possible fun. 19.57, and the Marshall man right on the inside of Bosbergen, starting to wear him like a glove now. Good battle for third going on between Peter Brook and Ivor Ladwig, but Ian Marshall, a veteran and a very talented and hard-charging driver from Queensland. They head down the back straight into turn number 3. Ivor Ladwig having a good strong run at Peter Brook, but Marshall is sizing up Bosbergen. The pressure is immense on the young charger. Onto the main straight, 19.83 the time. Well, it's a heads-up West versus East battle out there at the moment. The West Aussie, Craig Bosbergen, under siege from the East Coast star, Ian Gabby Marshall. And what a drive it's been from Bosbergen. Laps ticking by, Phil. He's got to hang on, half race distance.
Certainly will, and it's not bad times as well there, Wade, because young Bosbergen going around Bunbury Speedway in about 0.4 of a second slower than Shorty Ben Dudley, so he's got the Commodore wound up now, down the back straight, and up there in second place, and what a driver he is, Ian Marshall from Queensland, and doing a very nice job indeed, right on the ginger ale that time of Craig Bosbergen. The Pilkington glass, he washes out, and here comes Marshall, puts the nose where it's not wanted, and we've got a power drag down the back straight. Bosbergen puts the pedal to the metal now, throws the car sideways out of turn 4, down the main straight now. Ian Marshall over him like a rash. Up into turn number 1 now, Bosbergen. He's looking in the rear vision mirror, and he's not all at ease because Ian Marshall is throwing everything bar the kitchen sink at Bosbergen. Out into turn 3 and 4 now. 2 more laps remaining now for young Craig Bosbergen in Pilkington glass. And of course, Channel 7 up into turns 1 and 2 now. In second place is still Ian Marshall from Queensland. They've got 1.5 laps remaining now. And this is event number 12 on your race program for Craig Bosbergen now. With 1 more lap remaining in car number 8. Here comes the charge again from the Queensland Hot Shot. In car number 2, Ian Marshall down the back straight now. Come on, West Australia fans, where are you? Bring him home. Craig Bosbergen. Out of turn number 4. Marshall fights back. Bosbergen's gone. And Marshall. Where are you, West Australia fans? An absolute lungbuster. What bad luck indeed for Bosbergen. But a great drive from the Queenslander Ian Marshall.
Wayne on a start now. Here we go. Peter Logue on the outside. Oh, Wayne Hine in there with a chance too. Now, I think we won't see Peter Logue for dust. Now he opens up. Wayne Hine will be the one who'll try to squirt through on the inside of Pascoe. They go through. Hine goes with him. Leading this one, Peter Logue. Wayne Hine makes short work of Trevor Pascoe, who tries to come back at him. On the main straight, Wayne Hine doing a good job. Listen to that Trevor Pascoe car. 9, they're up to 4th. Baker in there for 5th. Wayne Hine up very high. Here comes 9 to underneath Pascoe. Couldn't quite go on with it. Gets a bit taily onto the main straight. Still leading this one. Peter Logue in the Picker Parts, number 6 car from Victoria. Leading this one. Wayne Hine in a second. The 11 Hindco Falcon. Trevor Pascoe in car number 41. Craig Wally Nylander back there in 4th. We go back to Alan Baker in car number 3 from position 5. Once again, Logue very high on the track. Wayne Hine trying to go with him. They're all running the cushion. 1960 the time. Fairly impressive so far. Logue continuing to do it well, though. This is the type of track he loves. Good time. You can't half tell. Yeah, he's clocking him all right. They're all chasing a fairly quick 1936 put down by Ludlow earlier in the night. But you got it right, Ken. He's motivating. He's got a very smooth line. Is Wayne Hine in trouble? Everybody managed to get through okay, but Wayne Hine has some dramas. Nylander 2 is certainly not making short work of Trevor Pascoe, and Baker in turn is all over the tail of the 54 West Australian Housing Centre Pontiac.
Well, We mentioned it last night, Wayne. We've got to say it again. Bad luck indeed for Wayne Hine. He's having not the most memorable Tri-City Sedan Challenge at the halfway mark so far, but the race leader, my word, he's doing a great job indeed. Peter Logan in
Look at the time there, Phil.
Oh, fantastic. I tell you what, that's going to be a very quick time, getting right down on Ben Ludlow's time. But there's a fire, it looks
Yeah, I
like,
think
from
so.
here in Pascoe's car, is it? There's something very red underneath there. The engine compartment will pick it up down the back straight one more time.
Sounds like you might have snapped one of the extractors or something like that, mate, because it's definitely hot underneath. Look at that heat under there.
That is, in fact, the extractors. They run down that in that vicinity on the super sedans. I'd say running very lean indeed. Wayne Hine keeping out of harm's way, nearly ended up in harm's way as Pascoe. And the car's starting to sound pretty noisy, so it could be definitely a extractor problem there. And he might be extracting himself out of that car pretty quickly than what he thinks.
I was just about to say, mate, Peter Logan's extracting the digit out in front, 1949 the time. He's been as low as 1940 with 2 laps left to travel. But this thing is, the Trevor Pascoe car is definitely broken an extractor or something, because that thing sounds horribly awry. Nylander all over him. Look at Peter Logan, this bigger parts car. He is all in the freight 1940 yet again. We said earlier the East Coast guys would prefer this track, and they have done. O'Neill's look quick, so is Logue, so is Ian Marshall. Nylander finally gets through on him and moves up into second place now, although all at a cost. He got straightened up big time.
Cover drift.
Oh, Baker, where's Nylander? Had nowhere to go. Pascoe got into the side of him just a little. They touched coming out of the turn. And Nylander rejoins the field. But it looks to me like Nylander has shredded a left steerer. The left front tyre on Nylander's car is flat. Have a look at it. Now he's going to want to continue. He needs the points. Oh dear.
My word.
Interesting starting lineup. Green flags out. Now at this stage, one would assume it's going to be O'Neill by how far?
All I can say here, Wade, is probably keep our eyes on this time clock.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, actually. It'll be interesting. 1936 is the time that Ludlow set. That was the fastest so far. Let's have a look and see what O'Neill could come up with. He was a little bit too high coming off that turn. There's the opener. Peter Drew having all sorts of dramas. Pulls the Norwich insurance car out of the infield. He has not had a happy ground so far. The first 2 nights have been a big problem for him. Let's have a look. 2017 was the opener. Let's have a look at O'Neill this time as he comes onto the main straight. There it is, 1969. John Rodder having a great battle with Des Alfirovich for second place, with Robbie Gray back there as well. Down the back straight into turn number 3. O'Neill working hard from Lismore in New South Wales. Hollywood race team. This is the ultimate. When you have a look at his race car transporter, look at the time, 1955. Coming down all the time. And of course, we just saw Peter Lowe clock a 1940 on a couple of occasions. And now look at this battle between Robbie Gray and John Rodder back in the field. Gray moves Rodder aside, puts himself up into third. Waiting to pounce on second. Have a look at Paul O'Neill, 1946. Getting consistently faster. Paul O'Neill starting to pull over the length of the back straight on second place to Alfirovich. Robbie Gray's in there as well. Down the back straight, Rodder's involved in this great scrap. Half race distance. What's O'Neill going to come up with? Oh, there it is, 1939. And O'Neill, as this race wears on, is winding the time clock up big time. Going into turn number 3 once more. This thing is a 4-wheel rocket ship. Let's keep our eye on the time. That looked a little bit out of shape midway through the turn. Let's have a look at the time. 1964, he had a slight moment. Robbie Gray, meanwhile, hoses Alfirovich for second. John Rodder all over his tail as well. O'Neill by how far? That's the question. He's almost got half a lap on the rest of this field. And again, he gets a big push midway through turn number 3 and 4. This is all a confidence thing from here on now. If he can scare the opposition a little. And with those times of a 1939, you can be assured the opposition taking a good, long, hard look at what Paul O'Neill's achieving out there in this heat of the inaugural Tri-City Sedan Challenge, night number 2, with 2 laps left to travel. 1965 once more, and you get the feeling that O'Neill has just buttoned off a little. Alfirovich gets a big push, and Rodder able to capitalise, snares the position, puts himself up into third. O'Neill once more, working towards this time clock. Let's have a look at it. Up a little bit too high once again. All up time, 1968 with 1 lap left to travel. And O'Neill, it's all a formality from here. Robbie Gray, strong drive from the back up to second. Alfirovich for fourth, Rodder for third. Well, come on, ladies and gentlemen. You don't become two-time Aussie champ for nothing. He comes off turn number 4. What a great drive. Paul O'Neill, he gets the win. Very fast time too, 3 minutes 17:31. Second goes to Robbie Gray. Third will go to John Rodder. Fourth to Alfirovich. This is crucial. 2-lap time trial. I'll share this one with you from here, Drifter.
No
Running
worries,
on a
mate.
time now. This is Wayne Hine from Western Australia. Well, green lights are on now. There was a bit of indecision for a second. Let's have a look at the time clock. Wayne Hine works the Falcon down the back straight. The Super Tilt car. Western Australia's hopes riding with one of these 3 West Aussies tonight. Wayne Hine, let's have a look at the time as he comes in for the first one. 20.93 is the opener, 20.93. He'll be hoping for a mid to low 19 at least to put himself back into this. Going into turn number 3, this looks a lot better. Working his way on the cushion, let's have a look at the time clock. Onto the main straight we go. 20.11. 20.11, giving us a combined total with a 20.93 of 41.05. 41.05. Phil Mansfield, Robbie Gray out of the raceway now.
Yeah, thanks very much, Wade. This is the man who took off the heat number 1 of the Tri-City Super Sedan Challenge. As Wade mentioned before, just coming back from a serious injury when he broke his arms in a go-kart accident in car number 24. Now down the back straight, looking very good indeed, and he was absolutely flying last night, and he's doing a very good job again tonight as he makes his way out of turn number 4 down the main straight and moves in with a 20.05, so it's probably a good time indeed by Robbie Gray, a 20.05. Makes his way down the back straight once again. The Mika Farah missile now on the raceway. He's got the pedal to the metal, the claw to the floor out of turn number 4, and greets the checkered flag with a 19.81. A 19.81 that time around for Robbie Gray, a dual time. First one of 39.86, a dual time.
Okay, here he is, Alan Baker from the East Coast. Number 2 in Australia, and just chasing that time. Put down by Robbie Gray. That time once more, Phil, what was Robbie Gray's time just gone in total?
The total was a 39.95, I think the total was.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's see what Baker can come up with. The number 3 car. Beautiful, EB Falcon. Oh, it sounds strong. He looks very good up the turn. Let's have a look now. Comes up for his first lap. He looks pretty quick from here. Let's have a look at what Baker can come up with. This for pole position in the A main. Down the back straight. Baker, red hot form. Backs the number 3 Falcon into turn number 3. Coming off the turn, let's have a look. Oh, looked about a low 20 that time. Let's have a look now. Out of turn number 2, this car working very hard. Down the back straight into turn number 3 once more. 20.44 was the time first up. He's way too high. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good time. 20.99. So the all-up time for the City and Regional Fuels, 41.43. The West Aussie still looking good. 41.43. Phil Mansfield, this will be a quick time.
Yeah, it certainly will, mate. Paul O'Neill on the raceway now, 34-year age businessman, makes his way into turn number 1 now. Paul O'Neill, a former dual national sedan car champion, makes his way down the back straight of Bunbury Speedway, hails from Lismore. Over there in the East Coast as he makes his way out of turn number 4. This will be a good drive by Paul O'Neill. There's no doubt about that, a 19.76, and that, to my calculation, makes him the fastest so far. Paul O'Neill out there in front and by himself on the raceway now with the time trials, doing a very good job. The first one at 19.76, second lap this time around, makes his way up with a 1929. Good time.
Big time.
Well, how about putting your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Paul O'Neill. A 1929, a great drive. Well, and the first one, a 1976, dual time, 39.06.
Well, what an outstanding drive from O'Neill. Peter Logue has it all in front of him. The car number 6, the pick-apart entry. Down the back straight, he time trial very quickly in these earlier heats. Let's see what he can come up with in this one. This for pole position. O'Neill looked very good. Oh, Logue a little bit offline, goes with a turn. Oh, opens up. Looked like a mid-19. Still was right in the ballpark. Let's have a look now as he works his way out of turn number 2. Down the back straight. Peter Logue chasing pole position in the A main for the Tri-City Sedan Challenge. Here comes the time, looking for about a 39. Here it comes. Oh, 19.62, the second one round. 19.62, 19.76. The all-up time of the City and Regional Fuels time clock, 39.16. It's getting pretty crowded at the top. Where are you, Western Australian fans? Shorty Ben Ludlow.
Okay, thanks Wade. Shorty Ben Ludlow the raceway now. The most winningest sedan car driver in the history of Speedway. In fact, the man he took the title from, Laurie Hardy, is currently here at Bunbury Speedway. It's great to have him here, but we'll keep our eyes on now the race man on the track now. Oh, gets high, White and handsome for Ben Ludlow. A 19.55 that time around. That's not a bad time indeed for a man who went
That's
horribly.
the quickest opener, Phil.
Yeah, horribly out of control out of turn number 4. So Ben Ludlow. Come on, Bunbury fans, bring him home.
Should be
He's
here.
our WA driver. Ben Ludlow, where are you?
Big time.
Oh, yes. 19.26. Woo. Where are you? Put your hands
There it
together
is.
for him. Ben
That's
Ludlow.
a big time.
Yeah, great time. First one, and a 38.81.
Okay, pace starts to quicken. This is it. The A main. The Tri-City Sedan Challenge brought to you by Coca-Cola. Heads up, Sedan Racing. Ludlow on the inside. O'Neill gets the jump. We are underway. Oh, absolute chaos. 18 cars. Ludlow down low. O'Neill's up high. Oh, look at O'Neill. Ludlow takes him high as they come off turn number 2. Down the back straight, Robbie Gray goes inside O'Neill. Well, O'Neill up very high. Gray was quick to pounce. Logue's in there as well. The WA guys running 1-2. Ludlow in the race lead. Gray slips up to second. Back to third, it's Paul O'Neill. Back to Peter Logue, Wayne Hine, Ian Gabby Marshall, Alan Baker. Back to Peter Brook, Brad Blake, John Rodder, Paul DeLacy. Back to a good drive, Craig Nine to Gary Hicks, Des Alfarovich, Craig Vosbergen, Darren Newmarch and Bruce Treneman. The pace, an absolute cracker. 19.55 first up as Ladwick departs the scene. Well, what a move by Robbie Gray. Phil Mansfield, he is looking the goods, but Ludlow holding a tight line.
He certainly is, mate. There's no doubt about that, because Robbie Gray has just been hanging back all night, looking for the big run, and it's coming up now. And what a surprise this is, because we were expecting a real battle.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, between Ludlow and Paul O'Neill. But Robbie Gray now puts the nose up there underneath Shorty Ben Ludlow. Bit of a jump that time around, out of turn 4, down the main straight now for Shorty Ben. The most winningest super sedan driver in the history of West Australian Speedway. Down the back straight now, Ben Ludlow. My word, he's got a heap of pressure on his shoulders at the present moment. We've still got Paul O'Neill up there in 3rd place. Up there in 2nd place is Robbie Gray. Then we go back to, that would be car number 6. That's Peter Logue up there in 4th place. So we've got Western Australia 1 and 2. The Eastern States charge coming 3 and 4. Then we go back to Wayne Hine in 5th place from here. And Gabby Marshall making him up from 6th place. So good time that for Ben Ludlow with 19.69 second lap.
Well, Phil, O'Neill's starting to make his charge now. He's tallying up behind Robert Gray, and here comes the move. Looking for the inside runner, Robbie Gray. Peter Logue back there in 4th, but O'Neill is definitely starting to make his run. He'll calculate this. He knows he doesn't have to go out early. There's a long way to go. Ludlow is running this mid-track run and refuses to get off it. Have a look at them. They work their way down the back straight. O'Neill trying to pull Gray in. Peter Logue sitting right in there as well. Back to Wayne Hine, Ian Marshall, Brad Blake. back to Alan Baker, John Rodder. We go back to Paul DeLacy, Peter Brook, Ivor Ladwig, 1 lap down, Craig Nylander, Craig Vosbergen, Gary Higgs, Des Alfarovich, Darren Newmarcher, Bruce Treneman. Here comes Paul O'Neill, the charger from Lismore in New South Wales, looking to make a run on Robbie Gray. They work their way off turn number 4, and O'Neill, a hard charger by any definition. Starting to wind the 55 car up now. Logue is closing them both down in 4th place. Ludlow still maintaining that half-track run, but now we are starting to get into the traffic. Here's where things can start getting very untidy. Half-race distance, Vosbergen falls infield. We are going to catch the lap traffic. Baker pulling up. There could be a problem. He won't be able to get down for a break in the traffic. He'll be waiting patiently. Look at this battle between Wayne Hine, Ian Marshall and Brad Blake. Here comes Ludlow. He's in lap traffic now. These things are starting to get very interesting. Onto the main straight, Ludlow slips underneath Newmarch. Oh, he's very good in traffic, Ben Ludlow. Refuses to make this traffic a problem. Treneman holds him up. Oh, he trips up track, and Ludlow picked the line beautifully, Phil.
Yeah, he certainly did. There's no doubt about that. Wayne, we mentioned before, he's probably the best in Australia when it comes to traffic. And one man you've got to keep your eyes on from here is Peter Logue. He's come out of nowhere, moved up into 4th place now. Just got caught up a bit that time around. Ben Dunlow's still the race leader and looking more and more comfortably as the laps progress from here. So I'd say he's going to be a hard man to beat. Paul O'Neill looking quite steady up there in 3rd place with Robbie Gray in 2nd place. Now that's a good battle for 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
And Loeb up there in 4th place. Then we go back, there should be Wayne Hine.
Here comes O'Neill.
Certainly is, mate. O'Neill.
Oh!
Underneath Robbie Gray this time around. Under brakes now.
Oh, he's got him.
Caution in turns 3 and 4. We've got 1 car which is in the water up there.
Paul DeLacy.
Paul DeLacy, bad luck for him. Ben Ludlow still the race leader. Then we go back to Robbie Gray. Paul O'Neill for Lismore, New South Wales. Then we go back to Peter Loeb.
Back, of course, to Peter Lowe. We go back to Wayne Hine, Ian Gabby Marshall, Brad Blake. 5 laps left to travel, and Ben Ludlow's got the Falcon on cruise mode. I said Falcon then, Drifter.
Thanks,
Going
mate.
in there in 2nd place, Robbie Gray still under the hammer from O'Neill. Time could be the enemy of O'Neill and Gray. They won't catch Ludlow if time's a factor. What could be a problem is the lap traffic. Look at this battle for the minors. Robbie Gray. Here comes O'Neill again, looks on the inside. This could be the move. No, it's not. Robbie Gray is too fast in a straight line. That is the telling factor. Look at this battle. Logue is clawing himself up into 4th, looking for the run into 3rd as Ludlow makes short work of Alfarovich. Good battles back in the field between Rodder, Peter Brook. Nylander's car is looking a little worse for wear. There's the caution flag and the courtesy flag being given to Gary Higgs to let him know that Ben Ludlow's behind him. He needs to move up track and allow a clear path. Down the back straight, let's have a look at the battle for the minors. That's where it's all happening. Robbie Gray, Paul O'Neill. Here comes Peter Logue again. Gabby Marshall working Wayne Hine over Deluxe. 2 laps left to travel. This is a beauty. Coming off turn number 4. Look at the battles everywhere you look. Wayne Hine in there, so Gabby Marshall, Brad Blake. They head down the back straight once more. O'Neill knows he's only got a lap and a quarter left to travel. Here comes the 1 lap flag for Shorty Ben Ludlow. This is where it will get interesting. O'Neill knows now he's only got 1 lap left to travel. Watch him try and manufacture something very special. Looking for the outside run. They head down the back straight for the final time. Ludlow, 2 well clear. It's all in the bag. Come on, race fans, put your hands together for the Shorty Ben Ludlow. Look at O'Neill. Shorty Ben Ludlow gets the win. O'Neill. Oh, what a great drive. Oh, Robbie Gray just. Paul O'Neill 3rd. Peter Logue 4th. Back to Ian Marshall, Wayne Hine, Brad Blake, possibly Darren Newmarch, John Rodder, Peter Brook. We go back to Craig Nylander, Gary Higgs and Ivor Ladwig, but what a race. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Ludlow, the West Aussie, does it well. Takes the win. What a pressure cooker drive.
Ivor Ladwick on the pole position. They call him Ivor the Survivor. On the outside of him, car number 41, Pascoe. Drivers all look in pretty good order. The green lights are on, they're away and racing. And Ivor Ladwick wins the drag into the main straight, into the top turn for the first time. Trevor Pascoe's there, Bert Bosbergen up in third place. Brad Blake on the outside, there's Chad Johnson. They thunder down the back straight and throw the car into the top turn. Plenty of action, Ivor Ladwick and car number 12 leads. Trevor Pascoe back to Bert Bosbergen. 1 down and 9 to go as Ladwick leads Pascoe back to Bert Bosbergen. Then we find going very hard indeed, 85. That's Chad Johnson, and a beautiful drive from young Brad Blake. Moves the former WA champion out of the way as they thunder down the back straight and into the top turn once again. Ivor Ladwick leading in car number 12. Back there in second place is Pascoe. Bosbergen going very well in car number 4. And here's Chad Johnson, the Leonora gold miner. The brilliant sedan racing here at the moment. Down past the Griffin sign in the back straight. Car number 12. Car number 12 going well. Ivor Ladwick, 41 there, Trevor Pascoe. Further back to car number 4, Bert Bosbergen, 85, Chad Johnson. Bert Bosbergen gets sideways. The car is absolutely performing a beautiful treat tonight. Into the top turn, Ladwick leads, and this is about the halfway mark. No, it's 4 laps down and 6 to go. Ivor Ladwick there going well. Brad Blake's holding off Robbie Gray, and look at Bert Bosbergen. Maybe Bert Bosbergen's car's turned the corner for him tonight. A very determined, very spirited drive from Bert Bosbergen in car number 4. Ivor Ladwick leads. Smoke starts to bellow from Bosbergen's car. Ivor Ladwick leading. 5 laps completed, 5 to go at the halfway mark. Ivor Ladwick out in front, Bert Bosbergen second. Then back to Pascoe, 85, Chad Johnson. Then back to 0, Brad Blake, as they come out of turn number 4 and move down the main straight. Plenty of action here at the Collie Speedway tonight. Bert Bosbergen starts to get blue and white smoke come from the rear of the car. We certainly hope for his sake everything's okay. Brilliant sedan racing being performed here at the moment. Look at Chad Johnson. Brilliant driving, grabs third place. Oh, and a young driver in Pascoe tried to knock him off the racetrack. And Pascoe was off the racetrack. What an unbelievable happening for young Brad Blake. The young fella so keen to do so well, and I'm sure the stewards will have a talk to the driver of that car. But Brad Blake is very unfortunate. He had a definite third place. Now we find the field. Ivor Ladwick leads them up. Bosbergen looks good tonight. And the green lights will come on in the moment. Away and racing. Well, somewhere along the line they must have forgotten the witch's hat. Chadwick Johnson starts to fight back underneath Bert Bosbergen as Ivor Ladwick, the survivor, leads them out of turn number 4. They've got 3 laps to go. Bosbergen there going well. He's run out of noise. Chad Johnson's car's got up into second place. Now keep your eye on the race. And bad luck for Bert Bosbergen. After driving so well, the car has just gone off song. But Ivor Ladwick leads. Back in second place is Chad Johnson. Back to Robbie Gray in a very aggressive mood tonight. Moving down the main straight they go. Brilliant action here. They got 2 more laps to go, and Ivor Ladwick has driven a great race tonight in car number 12. Car number 12, Ivor Ladwick leading, going very well indeed. Jay, can I borrow your biro, mate? Car number 12, Ivor Ladwick out in front and doing it well. In second place is 85, Chad Johnson. And back to Robert Gray in car number 24. Then car number 73. And car number 3. And then back to car number 4. But a great finish, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please put your hands together for car number 12, Ivor Ladwick, 85, Chad Johnson. Car number 24, Robert Gray. Here we have car number 81, Gary Higgs. They look pretty good. The green light goes on. And that driver is going very well indeed. Oh, look at good driving on the part of Craig Nylander. Gets underneath Dusty Higgs. Dusty Higgs just chopped him off a little bit, but they drag down the back straight, and it's Craig Vosbergen leading. Back there to Dusty Higgs, then back to Craig Nylander. Then we find Teneman, Peter Drew in car number 18. Number 11, Wayne Hine. And car number 60, John Cardy. But they thunder down past the Griffin Coal Mine sign in the back straight. Remember, this event tonight is brought to you by Griffin Coal Mines. Out of turn number 4 is car number 8, Craig Vosbergen. Back to number 81, going very well indeed is young Dusty Higgs. Then a good drive from young Craig Nylander. Car number 18 going well, Peter Drew. Out of turn 2, down past the Griffin sign once again. And it's car number 8, Vosbergen, driving beautifully at the moment. Out of turn number 4 and thunders down the main straight. By G, Craig Vosbergen is driving well, and so is Craig Nylander. Craig Nylander and Dusty Higgs are in the Third World War at the moment. Out of turn 2, down the back straight they go. And look at Nylander in 54. He's all over young Higgsy like a proverbial rash. He gets underneath Higgsy. Brilliant action on the part of young Nylander. Woo, yeah! Car number 8 going well, Craig Vosbergen. Back to car number 81. That's young Gary Higgs and Craig Nylander driving a beautiful race at the moment. Back to Drewy in car number 18. Back to John Cardy in 60, Teneman, and the WA champion Wayne Hine. There's again young Craig Nylander tries to get underneath Dusty Higgs. At the halfway mark, 5 down and 5 to go, and it's Craig Vosbergen in car number 8. 81 in second place is Dusty Higgs, and then young Nylander. What a drive! Oh yes, he's good. Oh yeah, thunders down the main straight they go. The car handling beautifully. Young Nylander just tries to get underneath Dusty Higgs. Here comes Peter Drew now, as young John Cardy just about lost it. Darren Newmarch brings up the rear. Out of turn number 4, 4 laps to go. Car number 8 out in front, Craig Vosbergen. Back there to car number 81, young Dusty Higgs, Craig Nylander in 54, Peter Drew in car number 18, then John Cardy and Bruce Teneman. Excellent driving at the moment. The Super Sedans are going very well. Oh, and young John Cardy run out of noise then. Whew. Well, I tell you what, the pace is an absolute blistering pace here tonight at the Collie Speedway, and you're seeing some wonderful action brought to you for this 1993 Grand Final night at the Tri-City by Griffin Coal Mines, and we thank them very much indeed for their wonderful support. Well, Craig Vosbergen's missed the bus a bit. He should have started, and he's in a spot of bother. He didn't listen to the instruction, and he could have lost that race then. Craig Vosbergen was a little bit slow to start, and Dusty Higgs is now starting to arrest him. Oh, poor old Craig Nylander's just backed off a little bit. Drewy's come through, and Drewy's taken 3rd place from Craig Nylander. Craig Nylander fights back underneath Drewy, but then Craig Vosbergen in car number 8. The Mika Farah missile of Teneman. They move down the back straight. The white flag comes to our flagman's hand. Car number 8, Craig Vosbergen. Back there to Dusty Higgs in car number 81. Then Peter Drew, 1 lap to go at the Collie Speedway. And a great drive being put up by these guys out in front. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nylander. Back in 4th place, the race leader, car number 8, Vosbergen. Dusty Higgs in 2nd place. Here comes Nylander, back at Drew again. Brilliant speedway, but across the line. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Number 8 was first. That was Craig Vosbergen, then 81, Dusty Higgs. Car number 18 was Drew. Car number 54 was Craig Nylander. The green lights are on, they're off and racing. Peter Logue and Paul O'Neill. Peter Richardson, a spot of bother. Then comes Paul DeLacy in car number 27. They thunder down past the Griffin sign, and it's Peter Logue from Victoria. Oh, look at Peter Richards, goes hard on the outside of DeLacy. He's lost the car, bang! Woo, yeah! Yes. Peter Richards went to lose the car, and Gabby Marshall had to stop it. A restart, a complete restart. Good decision, Mr. Stewart. Green lights on, off and racing. Peter Logue there going hard. Oh, and Peter Richards has sent O'Neill around, but Richard, oh, bang! Yes, it was unfortunate. They will have a complete restart again. Green lights on, away and racing. There we have Peter Logue there, Paul DeLacy in 27. Oh, look at Gabby Marshall in car number 2. Peter Brooks starts to come up there in car number 15. Then we find Shorty Ben Ludlow. There's plenty of action here at the at Collie Speedway at the moment. Oh, yeah, and look at Ben Ludlow. Look at this. Can you believe that? Ben Ludlow's car has had a complete block out, and the steward will have to stop the race. So here they go now. Down the main straight. Peter Logan, car number 6. Then we find Paul DeLacy, Peter Brook, then back to car number 2, Gabby Marshall. The guys all trying very hard. Paul DeLacy driving extremely well tonight. Peter Logue going well, the Victorian. He's doing an excellent job. Further back there in second place is Paul DeLacy. Back to Burnett Transport car of 15, Peter Brook. Then Gabby Marshall, car number 2. Brookie tries to get underneath Paul DeLacy. Paul DeLacy holds him off. They come out of turn number 4, have the claw to the floor and going for more. Down the main straight they come. Yes, it's one driver doing extremely well. Logue then back there to Paul DeLacy. Peter Brook then back there once again and going very hard is Gabby Marshall. They have done 3 laps, 7 to go. Paul DeLacy working hard. Paul DeLacy's working very hard in second place. Ben Ludlow's just going to pick up the points. Car number 6, Logue, is the race leader. Out of turn 4. 4 laps down and 6 to go. Logue out in front, then back to 27, Paul DeLacy. Car number 15 going well as Peter Brook. Car number 2, Ian Gabby Marshall. Then back to car number 9, Ben Ludlow. Looks like the white flag is going to come out. No, it's not. It's the halfway mark. The halfway mark just about coming up now. And it's Gabby Marshall, the man starting to really pressure this field. Brookie's there, DeLacy's holding him off. Brilliant action for the minor places as Peter Logue absolutely blitzes the field. Peter Logue in car number 6, then back to car 27. Paul DeLacy, car number 15 is Brookie, and back to car number 2, Gabby Marshall. Paul DeLacy's got off the side of that time. Gabby Marshall comes underneath Peter Brook, and he grabs 3rd place. Plenty of action now. Peter Brook going hard, held up that driver. But Peter Logue in car number 6, the Victorian, leads. And he leads very well. DeLacy's gone wide on the track. The white flag comes out. 1 lap to go at the Collie Speedway. Great event being shown here at the moment. Great event as Paul DeLacy now has to hold off 2nd place. Peter Logue's got this event well and truly in his keeping. Paul DeLacy in car number 27, that Peter Logue goes across the line to win this event. As we find coming through there in 2nd place, car number 27, Paul DeLacy, then back to car 15, Peter Brook, then back there once again to car number 2, Gabby Marshall, and bringing up the rear, car number 9, Ben Ludlow. But by gee, what an eventful race that was. And it's Wayne Hine on the outside. That's allowed young Drew to come under there in 2nd place. Des Alfivich leads. Then Chadwick Johnson, oops. Oh, and Drew just moved him out of the way. Very unfortunate for Chad Johnson. So Des Alfivich leading. Back there in 2nd place is Wayne Hine. Back to Peter Drew, then Ibis the survivor, Brad Blake and Chad Johnson. Driving very hard. Some excellent driving here at the moment. The track in very fast condition, and maybe this time we'll get Jason's lap record. 10 lap record. We find now Des Alfieri still leading, going very hard indeed. And of course we can see some great action being provided by the WA champion Wayne Hine. Then back to Peter Drew, number 12 Ivor Ladwick, and 0 Brad Blake on all. Chad Johnson's knocked the fence open, knocked the gate open. Well, there goes the chance of the race record being broken. Chad Johnson knocked the gate open. Very quickly in the stride. Des Alfieri in 73. Number 11 there in second place and going hard is Wayne Hine. Back to Peter Drew in car number 18. Number 12 Ivor Ladwick. Then Brad Blake and Chad Johnson. Des Alfieri driving extremely well. Some great action being shown here at the moment. Pretty unfortunate there for young Chad Johnson, who hit the fence. He comes underneath Brad Blake now. 6 down and 4 to go. 4 laps to go. And the race is being led very well indeed by Des Alfieri. Back there to Wayne Hine. Wayne Hine's just going for the ride to finish in points. And by gee, Des Alfieri is enjoying this race tonight. Going extremely well. He's car number 73, performing very good and very fast. In fact, it's the best I've seen Des's car go. Peter Drew having a bit of a lose there. But here we find now the white flag comes out. To Des Alfieri. Back to car number 11. Wayne Hine. Car number 12 there. Ivor Ladwick, and 0 is Brad Blake. So across the line comes car number 73, Des Alfieri. Back there to car number 11. And back there to car number 12 in third place. And it is Gabby Marshall. Oops. Whoa, and there's a bit of a... Gabby Marshall... Righto, put your hands together. Peter Brook is okay. The car has been repaired because he was the innocent party. And away they go again. And again we see Robert Gray and Gabby Marshall playing it tough. Oh, and Robert Gray has just outdished young Gabby Marshall, but oh, yes, sirree! Some roughhouse tactics, and the Queenslander's not happy with that. Woo, yeah! Gabby Marshall stopped on the track. Oh! Oh, by gee, they're playing for keeps tonight. Gone, and that creates a little bit of confusion. Right out away and racing. And Robert Gray leads from Alan Baker, Peter Brook, and Peter Logue. Peter Logue there in car number 6 now. Here comes Gary Marshall now to talk to the stewards. Robert Gray now in car number 24. Car number 3 in second place, Alan Baker. Car number 6 there in Peter Logue, the Victorian. Robert Gray now going further and further ahead. So some plenty of action here. Second place man still Alan Baker from New South Wales. Then Peter Logue from Victoria, Peter Brook from WA, and Craig Vosbergen from WA. But at this stage, Robert Gray driving hard and fast. And Robbie Gray really got the wick wound up in the Cardi Components car tonight. Plenty of action here. And Robert Gray leads heat number 5. Three laps to go, and Robert Gray leads in 24. Man in second place, of course, and going very well indeed, is Alan Baker from New South Wales. Back to Peter Logue from Victoria, and Peter Brook in car number 15. No change in the race order from our position, and it does look like it'll be. They've got 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, and it's Robbie Gray will get that white flag. Second place man, of course, and going very well indeed. Alan Baker in car number 3, then Peter Logue in car number 6. So across the line comes Robert Gray in car number 24. Back to car number 3, Alan Baker. Third place man, number 6, Peter Logue. Car number 15, and then back to car number 8. Green lights are on. Here we have Ben Ludlow leading this event from John Cardy, John Rudder. Then we find Paul O'Neill up in 4th place, and Craig Nylander in car number 54. Bert Vosbergen trying very hard in car number 27. Paul O'Neill trying to catch back to John Rudder. Some great action now being displayed by Ben Ludlow and John Cardy. Paul O'Neill's underneath Rudder. They make a bit of contact there, but Rudder fights back. He drops back to 4th place. John Cardy's going very hard and fast, but they come out of turn number 4. Ben Ludlow in 9. Back to car number 66. And John Cardy back to 46, going very well indeed. That driver, of course, is John Rudder, then back to Paul O'Neill. Look at John Cardy going very hard and fast. Ludlow fights him off. They're out of turn 4, and Cardy takes the lead. Brilliant piece of driving on the part of John Cardy. John Cardy and Ben Ludlow. Back to Paul O'Neill. Then back to Craig Nylander. But a good drive from John Cardy. A brilliant drive, in fact. Out of turn 4. Paul O'Neill's gone wide on the circuit. This does allow him to get a bigger run at the straight. John Cardy going very well indeed. A good drive. Ben Ludlow in car number 9. So some very exciting racing being developed here at the moment. Plenty of action here on the raceway at the moment. At the halfway mark, John Carty still leads in car 66. Back to car number 9, Ben Ludlow. Back to car number 55, Paul O'Neill. And car number 46. And Craig Nylander's got a chance to get there too. But they drag their rodders back in 4th place. And of course then we find Craig Nylander. Two laps to go. 2 racing laps to go. And it's John Carty in front of Ben Ludlow, Paul O'Neill. Back to number 46 there, John Rodder, and 54 going very hard indeed. That driver, of course, is Craig Nylander. Then Dusty Hicks. Some great action here. And the last time out, John Carty in car number 60 across the line first. Then back to Paul Neal and 55, then back to John Rudder and 46. Car number 54 is Craig Nylander. Then 81, Dusty Hicks. 27, Paul DeLacy. Number 4, Bert Vosbergen. Then we find 31 in Darren Newmarch. And bringing up the rear, young Teneman in car number 11.
Yes, indeed, it's a record. We finally got one. 10 laps, and the record for the 10 laps goes to John Carty, 3:15.74. He's taken 20 seconds off Noel Edmonds' record, which has been around for 5 years. So John Carty, 3:15.74, takes 20 seconds off the 10-lap record.
This is the biggest field of sedans or super sedans ever in a track out here at Collie, ever in a race here. The pace begins to slow down now. Now we've got ourselves a good start. Robbie Gray just slowing the field down. Craig Vosbergen tapping him on the back. Out of turn 4, back up the claw to the floor, and away they go in the grand final for 1993. The race leader at the moment now is Robert Gray. Back to Ivan Ladwick, then back to Craig Vosbergen in car number 8. Peter Booker's head to picket fence. Then we have Peter Logue, I should say, coming through there. But out of turn number 4, 1 down and 29 laps to go. The race leader at the moment is, of course, Robert Gray. Then back to Ivan Ladwick. Car number 8 is Craig Vosbergen. Number 66 is John Carty. 73, Des Alfarovich. A huge field of cars. Absolutely brilliant stuff here at the moment. As these drivers really drilling. Gabby Marshall's fighting his way through the field. Ben Ludlow's a big mover as well, as too with number 11, Wayne Hine. Craig Vosbergen's lost 3rd place to John Carty. John Carty's come through. And Craig Vosbergen is spotted Bobber. Chad Johnson had to do some evasive driving, but that is unbelievable spectacle here. They have completed 4 laps. There are 26 laps to go. Robert Gray out in front, Ivor Ladwick, then back to John Carty, then back to one driver going, well, look at Ben Ludlow. Ben Ludlow's moved up another couple of places, and Des Alfarovich has grabbed 3rd place. Oh, and there it is. There it is, unbelievable. John Carty lost the car, and Ben Ludlow had nowhere to go, and Benny Ludlow has really crunched the side of the car, but he's quite okay. Field coming down now. And very fast indeed as Robert Gray now moves out of turn number 4. Heading down the main straight, Ivor Ladwick, John Carty. Then we find Craig Vosbergen. Back to Chad Johnson, but Robert Gray's got an absolute burner under that cockpit of that car. Benny Ludlow going hard. John Carty still in third place. 19:28 second lap that time for Robert Gray. So Robert Gray has well and truly got this race sorted out. Car number 24 being consistent man all weekend. Robbie Gray then back in second place is Ivor Ladwick, then back to car number 66, John Carty. Ben Ludlow's back in there going hard. But there's absolutely, one driver, Chad Johnson, was just knocked off the track of the back straight there. Rejoins the field. Very unfortunate for him that the race still being led by Robbie Gray. Robbie Gray, the race leader, out of turn number 4. They've completed 9 laps. 21 laps left to go. In this, the grand final of the Sedan Series. Back to Ivor Ladwick in second place. John Carty. Then we find 73, Des Alfirovich. And Paul DeLacy's come off the track. He'll take no further part in this event. So Robert Gray now really got the wick wound up. Has put a wheel wrong. Some extremely fast racing. As we find Benny Ludlow being molested by Alan Baker, the Sydney driver. Alan Baker now going hard. As they go in the top turn, tremendous action. They have 19 laps left to go. Robert Gray leads. In second place there is Ivor Ladwick, John Carty. Oops, and there's a bingle on the top turn. Oh, and we nearly lost our photographer. Here we are now at the Witch's Hat. The race is restarted, and we find Robert Gray leading this event. Second place, Ivor Ladwick. Then back to John Carty. Some very interesting racing. Now 19 laps left to go. John Carty's trying to get up behind Ivor Ladwick. 19:25 that time for Robert Gray. A 19:25 second lap. So some great action being coming your way. Robert Gray leads. Second place, Ivor Ladwick, then back to number 60, John Carty. So he will have some great action still coming your way in the Griffin Coal Mining Company final. Out of turn number 4. Robert Gray still leading, Ivor Ladwick, John Carty, 73, Des Alfirovich. Oh, and Brad Blake's car just starts to disintegrate. A bit of fiberglass on the track. So here we have some extremely fast time. The race does continue. There's a fiberglass on the track. John Carty's gone wide. Des Alfirovich starts to press him back. The track getting very fast and very slick. So this will really sort them out now as they move down the main straight once again. John Carty's dropped back to 4th place. Des Alfirovich has passed him. Brad Blake still going well. Well, here we have out of turn number 4, and one car's lost it. Paul O'Neill, the Sydney driver, lost it in the back straight. John Carty's in a spot of bother. Craig Bosbergen there trying hard, but Robert Gray is in a class of his own at the moment as he moves out of turn number 4 and down the main straight. Back there to Ivor Ladwick, Ben Ludlow, is in fourth place now, so Ben Ludlow's trying hard. Ben Ludlow looks like he'll pick up fourth place as, Craig Bosbergen come right across the front of him. Craig Bosbergen come right across the front of Ben Ludlow. So some pretty hectic racing here at the moment. Chad Johnson pulled out of the event. The race leader still Robert Gray. Back to Ivor Ladwig. Further back to Des Alfirovich. And Craig Bosbergen. Craig Bosbergen. Oh, and John Carty's again hit the back of And John Rodder went through the dirt and water there. Some pretty hectic racing at the moment. John Rodder quite okay. Robert Gray now. Here we find now the race leader still Robert Gray. 8 laps to go. 8 laps to go. There is 8 laps to go and John Carty's out of the event. Robert Gray, the race leader. Second place man is Ivor Ladwig, then back to Des Alfirovich. Craig Bosbergen, then back to Ben Ludlow. Dusty Higgs, Peter Brook, and car number 3, Alan Baker. Seven laps to go, and the race leader still Robert Gray. Tremendous performance from Robert Gray at the moment. Ivor Ladwig starts to close the gap. As to Des Alfirovich, Ivor Ladwig really pouring the pressure on now. Realising this race is in the closing stages. There are 6 laps left to go for our race leader, Robert Gray, and Ivor Ladwig starts to close the gap. Robert Gray is slowing quite considerably. Maybe his tyres have gone off. Ivor Ladwig starts to pour the pressure on. There's blue smoke coming out the back of Robert Gray's tyres. So with 5 laps left to go, 5 laps left to go for our race leader, Robert Gray. Ivor Ladwig in second place, Des Alfirovich in third place. Look at Ivor Ladwig now. He's right on the tail of Robert Gray. Robert Gray, blue smoke's coming from the back of Robert Gray's car, and Ivor Ladwig starts to maul him. They come out of turn number 4. Robert Gray's in a spot above her. Yes, there are 4 laps left to go, and Robert Gray looks like he's in trouble as Ivor Ladwig starts, but no, Robert Gray fights once again. So Robert Gray lives to fight another game. Out of turn number 4 they go once again. Plenty of action here at the moment. Robert Gray in the race leader. Back to car number 12, Ivor Ladwig. Then back to 73, Des Alfirovich. 2 laps left to go. Can Robert Gray win his second feature race for the weekend? Ivor Ladwig's right on his tail. The white flag comes out, 1 to go. Des Alfirovich starts to close. What a sensational finish. Absolutely sensational speedway. But Robert Gray with a half a lap left to go in the Griffin Coal Mining Grand Final for 1993. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together as he comes out of turn number 4. Robert Gray from Ivor Ladwig, then back to Des Alfirovich. A long gap back then to Craig Bosbergen. Then further back there to Ben Ludlow in car number 9. Car number 15, Peter Brook, then Dusty Higgs in 81. Alan Baker in car number 3 from New South Wales. 0 is Brad Blake. And then back to number 46, John Rodder from Victoria.
6 minutes 34.18. 6 minutes 34.18.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as Robbie Gray does a lap of honour. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, of tonight's feature race, and no doubt you'd all agree with me, he's put on a fabulous effort. He was also the overall point scorer throughout the full series. And Mr. Dunsire from the Claremont Company now present you, Robert, with your fine event. Congratulations. Robert, it's been, they say winners are grinners. I heard the other morning that your dad couldn't smile on Friday. He had half a grin on Friday night, he had a bit of a double grin on Saturday night. Well, now we can't show, he's like a Cheshire cat at the moment, and you'll be feeling pretty proud of the way your car went all weekend.
I don't think you'll get the smiles off our faces for a few weeks yet. I'd like to thank Collie Speedway, Bunbury Speedway, the Claremont Speedway, all the competitors, all the supporters. I'd just like to thank everyone. Thanks.
Well, Robert, it has been a huge weekend. You're the guy that's set the pace all weekend. You really look at it. Your last time tonight, and last night, second place to Ben Lardo, which was a titanic struggle, and Friday night's one to win. So in all, it's been a great weekend, and probably one of the finest hours or the finest weekends in your whole Speedway career.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for Robert Gray. Robert, you want to say something else?
Yeah, I'd also like to thank the crew. Like, you just can't do any race at all without the crew. I'd like to thank Chris, Dad, John, and everyone else, Bruce, everyone that was there. Thanks.
In second place, ladies and gentlemen, Ivor Ladwick. Ivor has been a real survivor this weekend, Ivor. You've been in the wars for a couple of nights, but tonight I think you had your head really screwed on tight tonight, and you did an outstanding effort. I'd like to congratulate you. The car ran a treat, highest point scorer, and certainly by no means were you disgraced tonight in running second. You'd have to be very proud of that.
Thanks, Colin. I am very excited, and I'm just totally wrapped in this weekend. Not just tonight, but all weekend. I thought the racing, even though I had a few bad luck incidents, I thought the racing was excellent, and I hope for better things next year. I'd like to thank everyone, all the sponsors, all the people that organised the committee, that organised the Tri-City, etc. I'd like to thank all my pit crews, Collie, Caroline, Alan, Miles, Peter, Gary, and Tanya, and Thomas. Thanks all.
Hey, listen, Ivor, we're the same next year, mate. I mean, the season's just started, so I sincerely hope you're not going to quit now.
No way, I'll be back in fine form. Now I can afford to buy some new tyres. Thanks very much.
Good on you, Ivor. And ladies and gentlemen, another great battler. Would you please put your hands together for third place getter, Des Albarovich. Good on you, Des. That was good.
Thank you very much.
Good on you, Desi. It's been a great weekend. Your car broke down on the way down and your truck, and you didn't know how you were going to pay the bill. Well, I think now you've got it right, and it's good to see you smile. Great.
Thanks very much, Con. I'd like to thank yourself and Des Ferris from Claremont and Bunbury respectively, and also Collie Speedway for having the decency and really the guts to put up an effort like this, and the people that organised it. I'd like to thank the Eastern States drivers for coming over, and I'd like to thank my pit crew, all of you very much for helping, even the ladies for helping, and thanks very much to Paul O'Neill and his crew for lending us bits and pieces and helping us out over the weekend. Thanks very much everybody for coming.
Des Albarovich, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to present the National President of the Australian Saloon Car Federation, Mr. Doug Carson. Doug, I'd like to say to you and to your National Council, it just proves just how important this weekend was that the National Council saw fit to send you out a very busy schedule from Victoria to come over and be a part of this history-making event as far as WA is concerned. And I know that all the sponsors and all the promoters that have been involved in this event feel very proud that you did make the effort to come along and see how it was happening here in the West.
I'm very pleased to have been here, Con, and thanks to everybody who supported this whole program. And I really hope that the Eastern States guys can take this weekend back with them and encourage everybody to come next year, because it really has been a magnificent effort. There's some latecomers like Collie into the situation to help out when things were looking grim, and I think it was a great night out tonight, as it has been the whole weekend.
Well, would you now like to present the overall point score trophy, unofficially I admit, but to the winner, which is standing in the back of the guy's car, and Rex Metcalf, he's feeling pretty proud. Rex, you've done a wonderful job, and a great batter and support, and we have a lot of